Monday morning here at the UDL, right on time. Jordy Culotta show off and rolling here. Mikey Matuk is in. Lloyd is here. We appreciate you starting your day here with us. Remember, hit that like, share button if you don't mind. That helps us out a ton here on the Jordy Culotta show. We appreciate you starting our Monday. There's so much to get to. We are wide open here on this Monday morning as we're going to keep it to no guests as we're rolling through. Matuk and I, Lloyd is here. We'll be chopping it up.
Despite popular belief.
Lloyd is back
Wait,
after nearly getting fired. Lloyd
what was the snafu?
FU last night on the but that actually wasn't picked up.
I know it's
so y'all are motherfucking each other.
Right.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah. Well, not on air.
Like angry motherfucking?
No,
or
like
just
figure it out, motherfucking.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
MF at each other.
that's right.
But they didn't even catch any
No
of that
F-bombs
part.
until 8
I'm
o'clock.
sorry. Yeah, very early this one. But it was what they caught. We thought they caught it all.
Right.
Like I thought they had all of us, but they only got a little snippet,
only
and they
caught
were
the
still
beginning part.
overreacting.
So, but
We're
what
good.
was the snafu though? What caused the MFs?
Music
It was,
too
yeah,
loud.
music too loud. Just couldn't figure out some of the.
We're changing. We're changing some things up, to get ready for the new deal.
I got you.
And so these are things that have to happen.
Okay.
It's a little experimental period.
Yeah, you work it out.
Right.
Talk it through.
Talk it
Absolutely.
through, we're all
That's it.
good.
No
Absolutely.
grudges.
Well, Sunday night.
Yeah. Slow burn.
So we were here last night. Mickey Joseph was here. We also talked to BJ Ojulari. Last night was good content, man. Ojulari talking about the locker room. Brian Kelly, kind of what the reaction was from one of the high-end players. He seemed like he was all in, locked and loaded. Brad Davis, we heard from him, interim head coach yesterday as he was talking about the bowl game as LSU's announced they're going to Houston, in which I believe from where LSU is coming from, where they've been, they miss out on last year's bowl season. This is a huge recruiting cycle for them to play on January 4th in the city of Houston. I think it's a pretty big deal for LSU. I think it's for in a season where you're 6-6, where you don't really look forward to a bowl, going to Houston on January 4th, where you kind of got the day to yourself. That's a pretty good draw.
It's funny. We talk about how good now we're excited about it. 2 weeks ago, nobody cared about the bowl game, right? Because everybody was worried about the coaches. Everybody was like, well, we don't need to play. We have recruiting, this and that.
We were saying not to be in one.
Right. And so then we hire a guy, and it's the right guy, and everybody's excited. And now everybody's like, man, I think the bowl game is going to be a good thing, which I agree with. I think we saw in the A&M game how much playing in a bowl actually means to some of the guys, like some of the players. Because, they made some comments after the game or, post-game, and then literally right after the game on the field about how we're going bowling and, they're fired up. And it's just like, you know what? They're seniors. Absolutely. A lot of them are seniors. They're older. They weren't supposed to be playing. And now you get a glimpse into Brian Kelly era, and it's just kind of it's a little bit more exciting than it would have been 2 weeks ago.
What do you think Brian Kelly does during this bowl game? Is he on the
Recruit,
sidelines?
bro.
Is he?
It is. I was thinking about this yesterday because I am fired up first for Brad Davis.
Right.
Brad Davis is a Baton Rouge guy, graduated the same year I graduated high school. We played against each other growing up. I mean, he is as good a dude as you could ever meet. And I know that good guys don't mean anything in college football, but he is actually a good guy that
Just hired
really
the
is
black hat.
good at his job. You know what I mean? Like when you think about an offensive line guy that develops talent, a guy that can find talent and recruit, which is really the main reason why he was going out there and found by really Scott Woodward and Austin Thomas, which make me believe that he'll have not first right of refusal, but he'll get a first look here at this offensive line gig with Brian Kelly just because of the stock and the interest and the money that LSU committed to him in Brad Davis. And I'm fired up for him in this opportunity to go out there. It seems like he's got a great connection with the team. We talked to BJ Ojulari last night about Davis a little bit, and he was really high on the first-year offensive line coach who was thrown really into almost a lose-lose situation. I don't know if Davis really could have found success in year one at LSU, especially looking back on it, but he comes in late in the process, right? I mean, the James Craig firing was as surprising to everybody around the program and outside the program as there was a story in college football in the middle of the summer in July. They move him and they bring Brad Davis over from Arkansas, who has a really solid run game, offensive line. Sam Pittman doing a lot of good things up there in Fayetteville. Then he gets here to the campus and, as Ed Ingram alluded to, Austin Deculus, I believe, after the UCLA game, where they were talking about, look, the lingo's just different. I mean, like they hadn't even caught on how to talk to each other yet, like how to communicate with one another. But the offensive line play slowly but surely started to turn the corner throughout the season when he was not playing with any numbers. He had a lot of guys down. So I'm fired up for Brad Davis. It is an interesting thought on what Brian Kelly's role is going to be for the next 4 weeks as far as the bowl preparation goes. Obviously, he's the head coach of the program, but on the field, skill development, preparation for Kansas State. As LSU, it was announced yesterday that LSU is going to the Texas Bowl in Houston on January 4th. It'll be played at Reliance Stadium. Same night that LSU basketball plays Kentucky and will name the court after Dale Brown.
Somebody's probably upset about that.
So that is going to be a conflict of interest for sure.
What do you write an article about?
Where are we?
I think Brian Kelly's role. I think it's going to be more about evaluating the guys, like the coaches he has on staff, than evaluating actual players. And I think that the coaches are what he's going to focus on. I don't think he's going to like really meddle too much into like the actual game part of it, and just kind of spectate.
I do wonder what he does, because what you think that is he kind of like a Scott Woodward role when Ed Orgeron was the head coach, where he's just lurking, like he'll be around just watching and taking notes and seeing who's, because it's a great chance for him to evaluate people, right, without them really realizing that they're being evaluated. Well, they're going to be, because he's looking at the team.
They're going to be in their normal routine, how they would actually interact during a normal season and preparation. So like they haven't had time to like really fake it. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be as raw as he's going to get. So I don't know. I think that's kind of where he's going to put his focus.
I guess you can make moves on a coaching staff at any point, but I mean, when you get to this point in the season and at this point in the calendar, I mean, from evaluating bowl practices from Kelly's point of view, he's not going to be able to like make hires on that. His staff needs to be in place over the next couple of days, right?
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like who he wants to bring on staff. I'm talking about the players. Like he's going to be able to. He's already trying to like evaluate the roster and see who he likes, where he wants to go with the football team, like things like that. And he was doing that. That's why he called that impromptu meeting, right? They had no like he didn't call all right, when I land, we're going to meet on Tuesday. He said like quick 30 minutes, whoever can make it, make it. That's a test, right? He wants to see who's all in and who was there. Max Johnson, Ty Davis-Price. Like the people that you'd want to see there were in that meeting. But he's slowly, like, he's making cold, calculated decisions right now in my mind of who do I want to look at, who's the leader on this team. He doesn't know anybody on the roster. So these are the ways that you kind of find out what you're working with. And by having Brad Davis be the head coach, he'll be around every practice, right? Yeah. Like that's what I'm thinking. He's not evaluating staff as much as he's evaluating the talent, because he said it himself in the press conference. Like, I'd be lying if I said I knew everything about LSU football. I know the players. Like, I know the talent that is in Baton Rouge, but I don't know the guys. So this is a chance for him to learn that.
Well, I'm not saying that he's gonna like make hires based off of, because I agree he needs to hire before the bowl game anyway. But you know, if there's somebody, if they're like somebody's on the fence over these next. Whenever, I mean, you think they're going to make the hires in the next couple of days?
I think that they need to make the bulk of the hires in the next couple of days for sure.
Well, then maybe some of the position players.
You heard Walker last week. I mean, yeah, we're kind of still waiting to see who they hire as offensive coordinator. You know, I mean, he's all in, but even somebody who's all in is kind of like, what's the deal? You know, what I mean, like you got to tell Jacoby Matthews
who we're getting.
Like, who's the defensive coordinator going to be?
Right.
You know, like he needs to know that. You need to tell Shaz Preston who the wide receivers coach is going to be. I mean, like they need to know these types of things before they make decisions. And
I mean,
I don't think Joe Brady. I don't think that I know people want Joe Brady back. I'm not saying I don't want him back.
He's the coldest stock on the market, apparently.
But I mean, I think it goes to show you a couple things. One, Ensminger had a lot more to do with the offensive way the game was called. I think Joe Brady brought a lot of the scheme in, but it's hard to call games. We just kind of saw that this year with Jake Peets. And then he goes to the NFL, does okay, has a tough draw with quarterbacks, and gets fired after a year and a half, which is kind of weird to me. But I feel like if we would bring him back, it would kind of be too much like, oh, we're chasing 19 again instead of this new, fresh deal.
I have thought that. I mean, there is a sentiment there that I think that Brian Kelly is thinking about when making the hire. I think that Joe Brady is one of the most qualified and ready people for this job that exists.
I'm not saying that.
And but I do understand from Brian Kelly's point of view how much you want to bring that back because of you chase ghost of the past.
That's my point. And then,
and you're not the sexiest guy. You're not the sexiest guy or girl at the party anymore because everybody, if they bring Joe Brady back for LSU fans, that's going to be the fodder. It kind of makes you lose a little luster, right?
Well, bro, you have
if
to be
you're
a
Brian
10.
Kelly.
There is curiosity in Joe Brady coming back, I think, for a lot of people. And there is this underlying Steve Ensminger story, like Mike talks about. There is the storyline of being a failure at the NFL. I mean, him being fired a year and a half in. If you'd have told him 18 months ago, Coach, you'll be out of a job because you're terminated 18 months from now, what do you deem that? And I'm sure he would say that's a failure. So you've got that on the resume and a little bit of stench of that. He comes in here now with almost to prove like, hey, let me shed this reputation of I couldn't make it in the league and that I didn't have sole control of what was going on in 2019 as far as the play calling, scheming, and what was going on as far as game planning.
I agree, but the danger with that is if you're trying to chase an expectation of somebody, you're going to end up losing who you actually are as a coach, right? Like everybody gets fired in the coaching industry. Everybody. He had a lot of success in 19. If he believes that he's a great offensive coordinator, which I think that he does, I don't see him coming in and saying, you know what, I have to come here to prove it to everybody else. Because the minute you start doing that is the minute you lose a little bit of your identity as a offensive coach, and just you start kind of trying to do little things here and there to please other people, and it's not a good space to be in either.
And look, Brian Fletcher brings up a good point, and don't forget about Brian Fletcher Painting every time that Rohan is here. It is brought to you by Fletcher Painting. In fact, Rohan will be coming here this morning as he just texted in and said he wants to jump on and give his thoughts on what's happening with LSU football. And Fletcher, brings up a good point in what he was talking about with the players on the field and talking about that Joe Brady's scheme in the NFL really failed because he just didn't have any type of commitment of running the football. And what I think a storyline that will be lost with Brady's year and a half in Carolina is that Christian McCaffrey only played, I think, would he play like 5 games with Joe Brady?
Yeah, 2 years.
It was a very small sample size of McCaffrey and Brady. And when you don't have your best player, and when you have turnover at quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Darnold and a late in
he was solid with Teddy.
Cam Newton,
like his offense was pretty
I think
decent.
he squeezed the most out of the lemon he could with Teddy.
He came into that Carolina Panthers job with the opposite of a loaded deck. Like I don't understand why people are bagging on him for what he's done at Carolina. What do you expect him to do? What weapons do they have? What have you seen from Carolina to make you think they're a good football team? Like no Christian McCaffrey. So there goes the best player maybe in the league that you can't utilize anymore. And how well did Joe Brady utilize Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Like that's one of his go-to moves. That was going to be one of the guys that he would base the offense around.
Right.
That's not available. You don't have a quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Darnold. You trade to get one and kind of hope you can turn him into a Joe Burrow light. And it turns out Sam Darnold is not very good.
Not very good.
And then you don't have any weapons to throw the ball to. You draft Terrace Marshall probably on Joe Brady's behalf. Like he's like, I can make him a player. Turns out that didn't work out that well. But it seems like Carolina's just not very good on offense. I don't know why this is coming down to a Joe Brady decision and making him a bad coach. Like if he wants to come back to college football, LSU should crawl to him instead of him crawling this way.
You think this was a Matt Rule decision? Like Matt Rule wanted him out?
Matt Rule, it kind of feels like Dan Mullen a couple of weeks ago when he fired his offensive line coach and his defensive coordinator because people behind the scenes were telling him, you better make some changes and you better make some big changes
now,
or people are coming after you. You know what I mean? Like the heat is starting to be turned up on you unless you show that you're trying to change the direction of where this program is headed. And I think that Matt Rule just had to bring Brady in. If you read a lot of his comments that Rule made about Brady and bringing him in and making the decision, you could tell it was very tough.
Yeah.
He was supportive of Brady. He was very grateful to Brady. Absolutely. I mean, he was I remember seeing Matt Rule at the LSU-Oklahoma game at the semifinal and thinking, he's not going to let Joe Brady tell him no. He had this look like, I'm not leaving without Joe Brady. You know what I mean? It's not happening.
Yeah, he was circling him then.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, all
Well,
right,
and
this is the
I
guy I
think
want to
Brady
pick.
he was long gone in the national championship game. You know what I mean? Like, he was kind of gone.
I don't know if you know this or not, but didn't they come to it, like, LSU and Joe Brady come to kind of like an agreement in principle? Like, wasn't that, like, they offered him a contract and that was the move, right? Like, they had offered him to be the next offensive coordinator,
Yes,
make him the highest paid
absolutely.
coordinator.
Sure.
How far along were they before that Matt Rule swooped in?
Well, I think that discussion started from LSU standpoint very
Probably
early
week
in
one.
the season. I think probably after the Texas game.
That was week 1.
You know,
Yeah, that's
Well,
week 1.
when
Week
Georgia,
Yeah, they played Georgia State week 1 and they dominated.
and it looked totally different.
It looked unbelievably different. And then they go to Austin and 4th and 17, 3rd and 17 happens. Right, and I mean the great shot of Brady of him. They can't effing stop us.
Just barking, dude.
Kinda like put me on the field. He's like yelling into the window.
Well, then you have Insminger in the background, spitting into a dip cup. Like, this guy's got it going on right now.
Right.
He's feeling himself.
Now listen. I would love to have. I wasn't trying to trash Joe Brady and say I don't want him here. So like that, I don't want that to be confused. But I think he'd be amazing here. I think if he had 2 years of calling games in the NFL and coming back to college, I think that. I mean, the game's so much faster up there.
And one thing that Mickey Joseph said last night, and if you missed our conversation with Mickey Joseph, it was fantastic insight and information. And
Sounds hard.
Joseph, very transparent on where he's going, where he's been, and what he thinks of LSU in the state of Louisiana. So if you missed it, check it out, please. All of our stuff brought to you by R&B Builders. But he gave some insight into Joe Brady in recruiting. And, one of the things that we have consistently heard about Joe Brady is that he despised recruiting. He didn't dislike it. Like, he hated recruiting. And Mickey told a great story about Joe Brady last night in recruiting, where he said, Brady doesn't know how good of a recruiter he is. He said that I would always tell him that in the 19 season, like, bro, you are fantastic at this. And he said the reason why was he's just a great relationship builder in general. He's a good people person, and he's a football junkie. So he just sits down in front of these guys and he just starts talking ball and shows, how they're going to use and utilize. I mean, like they say the Arik Gilbert recruiting pitch that Joe Brady was
Could
doing.
you imagine?
He was telling you this? Like Mickey was saying this?
He wasn't saying, he didn't give the Arik. I've heard the Arik Gilbert story, but last night Mickey told me that, or told us, just kind of what he thought of him as a recruiter, and it was very insightful on a peer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just talking about somebody directly and saying, he was just too young to realize how good he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that he told people he didn't like it, but he was really good at it. And, I think that if Brady's name may need if it needs a reset in the NFL, and he has to fall back to college, because I do believe that Brady wants to be in the league. I think that he is an NFL guy. But I also think that he dominated the college game, and he has this reputation that he was dominant in the college game. And there's a lot that goes into that, right? Like, there was an Insminger role, there's the Burrow role, there's all those pros role, there's all these storylines that's there.
The team was so good.
Good. So good. But if he wanted to come back to college and kind of like set his feet in, there are reports that Napier's on his ass.
I'm sure, but
That's what I'm saying. Let me ask you this. If he is a college football coach again, would you not feel scorned if he went anywhere else but LSU and LSU didn't offer him?
No, I'm
not saying. I'm saying, like, do you feel like that's a missed opportunity? If he comes to Florida or goes to, you don't think that he should be the #1 name on the board if you're LSU football?
I don't necessarily. I mean, yeah, I think it. I think.
No,
he should
yeah,
be.
I mean,
you
think
deserve
he
a
should
conversation
be.
for sure.
I think he should.
Y'all
be.
are nuts. Deserves a conversation. I feel like you should throw like
I'm not
bag
saying,
at him.
I'm not saying.
No, I don't think that. I don't think you
either.
break the bank for him.
Me either.
I don't think
Me
that
either.
you.
Why?
Because
What's changed in the last? Like, I've asked you the same question 2 weeks ago, you'd be like, absolutely, if you can get Joe Brady, because wasn't that the thing with Matt Rule?
Well, I still feel like if you can get him, you go get him. But I don't think that Brian Kelly is going to try and break the bank and try to,
Right.
throw the bag at him to say, hey, I mean, if it comes down to him in Florida, if it comes down to LSU, Florida, I think that LSU will make the run at him. And I think that he's more familiar with LSU.
But there's also a cap on how much they're going to go. If Florida wants to give him $4 million, LSU's not going to do that.
Okay, so if I tell you Tom Reese, excuse me, he's dropped the MY. He's Tom now.
Just
He's
Tom,
professional.
big Tom.
So if I tell you Tommy Reese or
Tom.
Joe Brady?
Tom.
Tom Rees or Joe Brady? Which one do you want?
Joe Brady.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay,
not
but-
that's not who we're comparing. Tom Rees already said he's staying in Notre Dame.
I know, but I'm saying, but if you're Brian Kelly and he
Yeah,
was
but-
like, and he gets to his pick of the litter, would you be
No
excited?
doubt.
That's what I'm saying. So you
But-
want everybody
yeah,
wants
but-
Joe Brady. I'm thinking.
We want him. I'm on Jordy's side. I want him, but I'm not going to pay him whatever he wants to come here. That's my thing. Like if it's between those two guys, that's fine. But if it's between LSU and Florida and it becomes a bidding war, I don't think that you would pay $4 million to go get a
I am
coordinator.
trusting Brian Kelly,
Right.
really and truly.
I'm trusting Scott Woodward.
Well, I think that the trust in Scott Woodward has paid off.
The alignment.
You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, now you've trusted Woodward to put the right guy in place, and the right guy seems like he is in place. And to me, Joe Brady was much more felt, wanted, and needed from LSU because you felt so desperate in leadership, where you said, hey, look, the guy running the program is very confused on what it wants to
How
be.
we're winning.
Yes, right? And he needs experts but he needs a Dave Aranda and he needs a Joe Brady.
Perfect.
Right? Like he needs that type of mixture of personalities in his coaching room to make it look and feel successful. Now that you have the guy at the top that feels like he is the organization in the sense of he's going to make sure that every piece of personnel that comes in and out of that program is going to be filtered and vetted by him, that he's going to have the best person in place to run the nutrition or the offense, that I trust that. I trust that. And I don't think that – and I think throwing everything you got at Joe Brady as your first play feels a little desperate.
Okay,
A little desperate.
Okay, so then this when it goes back to the Ed Orgeron after Joe Brady left. We'd say, so if he brings in a Scott Linehan type name,
Oh.
but you're saying you're trusting Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
You'd have
but
to
that's-
say, okay, well that's the direction he
Well,
wants
look
to
at
go.
Brian Kelly's past. Look at his track record. His budget at Notre Dame is not that far off different than what LSU was
kinda
playing
poor.
with. Yeah, but as far as like hiring assistants,
No, I'm saying he was kind of a poor coach.
he could go out there and hire who he wanted. He could go take Marcus Freeman away
Right.
from
Yeah.
LSU. But his track record doesn't say that he's going to get
Tip top
off the board Scott Linehan type names.
Yeah, and that's
I
the thing.
do believe that he can attract Joe Brady. I do believe that he can attract the top talent, especially now at LSU when you can say, hey, come to the practice field. You want to coach Keyshawn Butte? You know what I mean? You want to coach Walker Howard? You want to coach, some of these guys, Jack Besh,
John Emery
Malik
might be
Neighbors?
back.
I think the boat has sailed on Emery.
I'm just saying, if this is setting up, if you really want to look at it, for Brian Kelly, this is probably the toughest stretch of his like coaching tenure, and it's happening immediately because you get rid of a strength and conditioning coach in Tommy Moffitt that everybody liked,
yes.
right? But it did feel like that ship has sailed.
Yes.
But then you have the opportunity to bring back Joe Brady and the offense that everybody was clamoring for 2 years, and if you pass on that to get your own guy, like there's going to be some equity built up against Brian Kelly if none of this works out. Because if he's not playing to public opinion and playing to the fanfare, then good on him, and it is a change in
Well, that's the thing.
direction
That's what I'm-
immediately.
that's what I'm
going
gonna
to
say.
happen. That's not
What?
happening.
What?
He's not falling to public pressure.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
right. That's what I mean. And that's to my point. I think that we're all so scarred
It's a clean slate.
on what's been happening in the past. Even from our athletic director, our former athletic director, made a hire based off of the student section chanting Coach O's name,
carried off the
or
field.
Les Miles' name, and kept him.
He didn't fire.
He didn't
somebody.
fire him.
That's right.
And so we're so used to seeing, man, we actually like the fans and like what like we say makes a difference. And like, yeah, you want the fans to be happy, but you also hire guys who are way more qualified to make decisions than any of us. And so you trust in those decisions, and then whatever happens, happens. I think we're just scared from what used to be.
Let's reset the show here. Daily, we are brought to you by
Oh,
Go
shit.
Chevrolet.
We didn't do anything.
We hadn't gotten in. There's so much to get to. I mean, there's so much to get
Wow.
to today that we're going to set up. Like we said, the show is wide open. I believe Rohan's going to come through here at some point, brought to you by Fletcher Painting. But all the time, we are driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Our crew is down there in LaPlace, Louisiana, over here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales. True Blue Water is the water here officially. Papa Earl's is the official spice. Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan. bring you our phone line every single day, and our coffee is Majestic Coffee and DeliciousSips.com. So there's a lot to get to. The Joe Brady angle obviously is fascinating. LSU is headed to a bowl game. They're going to the Texas Bowl. Brad Davis, the interim coach, met with the press for the first time, met for about 18 minutes yesterday, which was pretty cool to hear his insight and conversation on where he believes LSU is going. We announced that bowl game is the same night as LSU basketball will play Kentucky inside the Maravich Center and open up SEC play, so that'll be a good one on ESPN. And obviously Dale Brown Court will be named that night. Damone Clark was absolutely robbed
What the fuck,
of
man?
the Butkus Award.
It's worth it.
I'm sorry.
7:30.
Sorry, students. I mean,
Worth it.
kids, you're going to hear that at some point. So, like, what is going on?
Dude, the stats, when you put them next to each other, it's staggering. And it's not even a make good for Dean. Like, I went back and looked at his previous year because you know how Grant Delpit kind of caught, like, maybe, all right, you caught the Thorpe on the back end whenever you could.
Well, you got screwed the year before. Right.
And I looked at it, and Dean's stats aren't good enough from last year.
It's unbelievable when you look at the stats side by side. When you look at Damone Clark versus Nakobe Dean, and this is the Butkus Award, which goes to the top linebacker in college football. Nakobe Dean is a starting linebacker for Georgia. LSU's Damone Clark. Dean and Georgia played 13 games. Clark and LSU played 12. Damone Clark had 78 solo tackles compared to Nakobe Dean's 29. Damone Clark had 135 total tackles to Nakobe Dean's 61.
I mean, I don't understand.
Damone Clark had 15 and a half tackles for loss compared to Nakobe Dean's 8.5. Clark had 5.5 sacks. Dean had 5. Every single major stat category that you judge a defender by in football, Damone Clark is not only better, he is significantly better in some stats where he laps and doubles Nakobe Dean's production.
The solo tackles are 3 times the amount.
135 total tackles to 61 for Dean in the advantage direction of Damone Clark. 78 solo tackles compared to 29 for Nakobe Dean. And Dean played one more game than Clark did. It is laughable. I mean, it's almost like I feel so bad for Damone Clark. Just like I know that from an individual standpoint, he's probably not going to come out and say how much he wanted that award. But you got to believe. I mean, you got to think about 3 or 4 games in when he knows he's playing at such a high level and that he's only going to get better or feels like he's in tip-top shape. He's probably thinking, I'm the best player in college football. I'm the best linebacker in college football, and I want all the hardware to prove that.
Well, it's a shame that it's like this, but these awards aren't individual awards. It's based off the team,
obviously,
right? And that's wrong. And look, you know what? It hurts even more, honestly, for a guy like Damone Clark because he spent 4 years grinding. Like he didn't come in as a top linebacker.
Yeah,
he had to work his way there, gets there, and then becomes the best linebacker in the country and doesn't get rewarded for it. Like that's a shame.
He will. He will get rewarded for it.
Wow, I got
he fought through it.
I was battled through that one. I'm sorry.
I commend you. Yeah,
wow.
I commend you.
Well, yeah, if anybody can talk you through how to do that, it is Jordy Culotta. My God, it's Jordy Culotta once, two gods too.
The amount of money that Damone Clark has made from last year at this time,
right?
UDFA
until this, an undrafted free agent to a second-round pick, and I think when he gets to the testing,
it could be a first
combine. People are going to be like, "Oh my God,
is he going to go Senior Bowl?"
Probably
because he could shine
there. I mean, that's if I'm him, I'm going to
everything
that I can show myself. I'm going
everywhere I can show off. I want to be there,
no doubt.
Adrian Bailey says Joe Brady is from the Miami area. So if it comes down to Florida, Miami, and LSU, it's going to be hard to get Brady this go around. And I you know what? I'm with you, Adrian, because I think one of the stories behind the scenes that not a lot of people, especially in this area, is talking about is that Miami's about to open up. Manny Diaz is about to be forced out. He's going to resign, and it looks like they're going to get Mario Cristobal from Oregon, but more importantly, it looks like they're about to get Dan Radakovich, the athletics director from Clemson, to go down to Miami, which is the first time that Miami has really ever dedicated true money and resources to the football program and athletic department, because the Miami model has always kind of been overachieving with this unproven type of like Jimmy Johnson. When he was at Miami, he was an assistant in Oklahoma, and he came in there and he just started rolling. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people were like, like the Dallas Cowboys were like, holy shit, we want that. Then, even like Howard Snellenberger, dating back to the early days of the U. He wasn't the guy that you would tab and say he's gonna
the next wonder kid,
or he's gonna develop a college football dynasty, right? He was kind of an underachiever. Even like Butch Jones. Think about Butch Jones. He was the one that really set up those Larry Coker Miami teams.
They had 3 straight really good coaches, right?
Right.
Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson,
and then they had
you just said. Before Coker.
Dennis Erickson.
Oh yeah, and then
we're not
Davis.
putting Coker in the good
No.
Could you imagine?
But they didn't pay for any of those guys.
No, but you're not worried.
To be there.
Are you not worried about how they're handling this entire situation over there? Like, I think the argument with Miami isn't. Part of it is, they're not hiring the good guys, but I think a reason why they're not hiring is because the trustees and the people that have too many irons on the stove.
Well, they've screwed it up again.
That's what I mean. They've
screwed it up. They've hired the football coach before they hired the athletic director.
Before they even fired their other coach.
Well, I think that there's some type of understanding with Diaz.
But it hasn't come out.
Stay. No. I would imagine he resigns like today.
What? They said that if Mario Cristobal doesn't come, they'll retain Manny Diaz,
which will never work.
Right. If she doesn't, if she want to go out with me, I'll date you later.
But Cristobal's coming.
You think so? He's a Miami guy.
He's from Miami. He comes from Cuban descent. From Miami to have that guy. To me, they've just hired Al Golden, Ed Ogeron, Manny Diaz. Yeah. They've hired the same person. They just paid 8 times, 9 times what they. Mario Cristobal was fired from FIU. He was let go at a school in Miami that draws about 6,000 people a game. Then where did he go? The Nick Saban rehab for coaches in Tuscaloosa, gets back on his feet, and now he's coaching the number 1 pick in the draft in Kayvon Thibodeau, and had Oregon playing for a Pac-12 championship.
They got dusted.
Crushed.
Twice.
Not only did he have maybe the best win of the year, he had 2 of the worst losses of the year. And I think that all of the power and money in Oregon's backing is even kind of saying, look,
take him.
Go ahead to Miami.
Because if you're LSU, you wouldn't want Mario Cristobal, right?
No chance.
And that's what
he's Ogeron.
That's what I was going to say.
He's a rah-rah guy. He's a cheerleader. He's a beat your chest.
Big nippled man.
Yes, he's going to let you know how many times he's working out.
Tell you what.
Today.
Tell you what though. On a whole different, I know we're on the Miami thing, but Clemson's about to go through some serious changes. They lost their DC, who's been there forever. They're losing their athletic director. They're losing another coach of Virginia Tech. This is going to be the first time in a long time they've had turnover.
Stripped. Clemson just got stripped.
You know what I mean?
Well, if they lose Radakovich, which it looks like they're going to lose Radakovich, and I think, look, Dan Radakovich was in LSU's athletic department when LSU was becoming a monster. And he went to Clemson and has had tremendous success at Clemson. And to me, the Radakovich hire is more of a commitment from Miami's standpoint that they want to be relevant than bringing Cristobal in. But to me, I think that Radakovich is going to get there and see.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This is broken.
Do you feel like?
But that's kind of who Dabo is. Dabo is kind of that same personality of shucks, golly gee, you know what I mean? Right.
Little old Clemson.
Exactly.
Do you think this offseason for college football can change in the next 2 or 3 years, right? Miami hires Cristobal, Lincoln Riley goes to USC. Do you think that by getting Miami and USC back to being elite, that changes a little bit how college football is? Back to a little bit more parity and not just so centered in the SEC?
I don't know. I think it's going to become more focused on the SEC with adding Texas and Oklahoma.
Right, but like obviously you're still gonna have the Pac-12 and you're still gonna have the ACC. But like
I think Ohio State's still going to be a player.
Yeah.
ACC, I think Miami is desperate to stay relevant. They are trying and grasping at every chance they can to stay relevant. I think USC is making an obvious push to stay relevant. I mean, they're paying for the first time. These programs are opening up their checkbook and paying, like committing to resources for this.
It makes you wonder, why haven't they done it before? Is this in the tinfoil hat? Is this the NCAA saying, like, this is our last chance to keep this thing relevant? Because if you let it go the SEC way, it's toast for the rest of
I think
college football. So
yeah.
I think that they're saying, like, Lincoln Riley, you need to go to USC. I don't know what we have to do to get you there, but we need this program back up. Because you want this to be a massive landscape. And right now, it is only secular to the south.
Well, I don't know if it's the
But
NCAA.
if you get but who else would make these decisions?
I think it's the schools. Like, I think the schools.
Right, but they're saying, like, dude, go spend the money. Go do this. They're giving you the nudge to, like,
I think
please.
the schools are like, hey, you know what? Because USC doesn't want to be. They want to stay out there in the Pac-12. Miami wants to stay in the ACC. Like, they can't compete in these big.
They don't want to
mega
get in the arms
conferences.
race.
No. And so they're like, you know what? We don't spend money on coaches usually. Spend as much as you want. Go get the best guy you can get. Miami's, we've been fucking this up for the last 20 years. We're going to go and change the entire thing. We're going to go spend money on all these guys because we know that we have to become relevant again and be elite in order to fight this transition.
But why now? It makes you wonder, why is this happening now?
Oklahoma and Texas.
Because of the new playoff expansion,
absolutely.
where they
the
need
shift in power, the shift
has forced people's hands.
Absolutely. I mean, now people have to open up and start spending. When you're looking at the SEC and you see Brian Kelly making $100 million, when you see Lane Kiffin signing an extension for multi-million dollars, when you see what is Jimbo Fisher's contract in College Station for $100 million, what's Kirby Smart's contract going to be here in the next couple of months after he plays for a potential national championship. I mean, the amount of money that is in this conference, and then Oklahoma goes and hires Brent Venables. Where like they are losing relevancy every single second in the Southeastern Conference.
Limping into the SEC.
I mean, they're going to come in and figure out real quick that you've gone from, college football player to bottom cellar dwelling in your own conference if you don't start committing the right resources and money to the right people and parts of the program. That's why it was so monumental that Scott Woodward didn't hire Mark Stoops. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's why he had to bang this thing out of the yard. And I think when we step back at it and look at it now, that's why behind closed doors, Billy Napier never got a call.
Yeah.
And that's why Dave Aranda, he wasn't ready for that call.
Big win by Dave this weekend.
Huge win by Aranda. Huge.
How
win by
crazy
Aranda.
was that game?
Wait, did I tell you what happened to me whenever I watched this football game?
No.
So I'm on the Fubo. And so I'm watching it through the Xbox, and my screen will go dark. Like you haven't touched the remote in a long time. So obviously, I'm watching the game. And it does that, so I'll go to flick the controller over and just kind of make sure it's not dim anymore. Changes the channel, last play of the game. It is 4th and goal. I'll watch the entire game. 4th and goal, 1 second left or whatever, 20 seconds left. The last play on the 1 yard line. I hit the old button to try to make the screen bright again. Changes the channel to Portuguese soccer. Missed it. Have to go back and watch it on Twitter. Missed the whole thing, man.
That stinks.
Put all the effort into it.
But that was that was unbelievable. Dave Aranda is a defensive genius, bro.
17 plays Oklahoma State ran within their own 10-yard line or within Baylor's 10-yard line and didn't come away with one touchdown.
The best Dave Aranda narrative of all time.
Dude, he's an unbelievable goal line. His goal line defenses are unbelievable.
Did it feel like they weren't going to score too?
Yeah,
Did it
you
feel
knew
like
it. You knew it.
Yeah, if you're just they're not going to be able to
choking you out.
It felt like LSU Missouri last year.
You could feel the walls crumbling on Gundy.
They don't have a play.
They were we don't have a staring at that thing.
And Baylor's over there burning
call
timeouts.
Your best play.
They're giving you time to call
Run
one.
Philly special. Run something.
Throw it, maybe.
City Cafe brings you the Jordy Culotta Show every day here. Remember, City Cafe, br.net, online. O'Neill and George O'Neill is where they're located. Been there for over 100 years. Been in business for over 100 years. Stop in and see Squeaky and the crew. They got lunch specials every day. Don't forget about the brunch on Sunday. Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk, and everybody over at City Cafe. Stop in and see them over on O'Neill and George O'Neill, City Cafe, BR.net. Proud supporter here of the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate you being out there. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button. If you hit that dislike button, let us know it inside of the bunker. We want to keep count. YouTube is taking away the numbers of dislikes every single day. If you hit that thumbs down, just let us know. We're running, trying to get a tally.
Yeah, put you on the list.
Wait,
on the spot.
Cody
George the Greek, Apu Aika was good. Jeez.
Wow.
Bro, he looked in Damakong Su good on
and
Saturday.
he plays it up to the camera, too. He's an LSU guy. Like, you can tell he's got that LSU personality.
Not
you
anymore.
know? But you want to run a 4-3, cool.
No, he's a Baylor guy.
How do you get to have a Squeaky and then a Cody? Is Squeaky his real name?
No way.
No way.
No way. Squeaky he's a famous basketball coach in the area, so I got to imagine somewhere Shoes and Squeakies came in.
Awesome. What a name.
Yeah.
And then you're just Cody on the other end?
Cody the son, yeah.
We'll get you there.
One of the most intense basketball coaches. I mean, obviously Italian. Squeaky Miranda.
Well, yeah, I mean, Squeaky Will gets the grease.
But some of my early days in refereeing.
You used to ref?
Oh, bro. Up until 2 years ago.
What?
Were
you animated, or you
look it up on Tiger Droppings? There's
were
a
you
lot
Joe
of,
Cool? Like
a lot of
you give like
Jordy
a blocking or a charge. Was it like, or did you get into
the
it?
big charge call in a big
you get that like
spot,
the 3 skips and the pump
to give a little crow hop into it.
Yeah.
Did you let the call overtake what should have happened? Okay.
I had.
Like
before.
we're like, oh, I can't wait to give a charge
some of
here.
Were bad moments in refereeing. You know, I mean, referees have bad nights.
You know what I mean? People don't understand that.
You don't, people forget that.
And if the referee
that we're human.
Watch the Saints game.
No, but I mean, like that is true. You forget that people like that.
You can have a bad day.
You bring
dude.
your own BS into the gym.
Yeah, no doubt. But
you know
here's the deal, though: the referees that admit, like, hey, man, I'm sorry. Like today, it was a bad day.
No,
if you admit it, I can handle that. But it's the ones that don't.
Those are the ones that love you. Like, you know, like they'll be like, "What happened there, Coach? I missed it."
Bro, I feel like shit.
You missed it.
Now, if you say it too many times, like, whoa,
no, one a year.
Yeah, you gotta let them know.
Per coach.
Yeah,
per coach.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can't. No, you can't say that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the. I mean,
did we see the video? you want to talk about the video?
I didn't share it to him.
He sent me a video of. It'd be like we're going to a baseball camp, and all the campers are stretching out in the outfield, and they do these lines and like whatever. It was all referees on this baseball field.
Umpires.
Umpires. And the guy's giving them like signals, and they have to give the out call and the safe call and the out call, and they're like yelling
in unison.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
1, 2.
There's like 3 guys on there that keep giving the opposite calls and just quit, and they just like trying to look and trying to figure out like, damn, I can't even get this right. I'm not even looking at a play.
I'm telling you what the call is, and they're going out, and this guy's going safe. And then there's one guy in the back that just gives up, like
just
gives walks
up.
away.
Dude, it was. I gotta say, it was so funny.
I love that type of stuff, bro.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I've officiated with people like that before, where you can tell they've never seen the sport.
What am I doing here?
They've never seen the game.
They don't know how fast it moves.
And to me, that's first and foremost. Like, you got to know what you're looking at. You know, people ask me like, "How do you get to officiate?" Well, do you like basketball first? You know what I mean? Like, do you know the game at all? Like, do you know that like what a moving screen is? What would you define a moving screen as? Like, if you don't know, like, don't do it then.
1-1.
Don't do it. You know, like, don't do it or at least learn the game. Just watch it and then go do it first.
Yeah,
because
but even then,
to me, the worst. Do you agree? The worst official. You probably don't see this at the major league level because all of them know the game. But like coming up, I mean, at the level that I officiate like 6th, 7th, 8th freshman type basketball. I mean, you get a lot of people that are just going in there to get the money.
Yeah,
where it's a nice little side hustle.
But they have no interest in the sport. They don't have any clue.
But that's no clue, but definitely no interest.
But that's the thing. Even if
how would you do it then?
Because it's a side gig. It's cash. Dude, I remember when I got into it before I had Jordan, I would go do it every single night and do like these tournaments, and it was also like a great way to stay in shape.
You
know what I mean? Like, you're just running up and down.
Dude?
Absolutely.
Anytime.
I called a game last year.
I gotta go.
I would get people like call me like, hey,
Can you do this?
If you don't have anything going on, can you fill in for me? But I mean, you could if you call every night, and I'm talking to people out. If you're looking for a great side hustle, boy or girl, it doesn't matter, and it's a great way to keep yourself in shape. And you love the game of basketball. If you're not officiating, what the hell are you doing? Because it is a great hustle in the way that it's cash every night, and if you really want to
get paid for
$35 a game. And so you go in on a regular night, 30 a game. So you go in on a night, and you call a 6th, 7th, 8th grade game. That's how they would schedule it.
Yeah, so
like
you go to
$100. Let's say you go to St. George tonight, you call the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade game.
Oh,
You get $100 in cash, dude.
Dude, give me that jersey.
And now there's games every night. Like at this point of the year, like when you get post Thanksgiving into these holiday, and then schools will start having tournaments. So on a Saturday and Sunday, you could call 8 games. You know what I mean? And you could just take home $400 in a weekend on the side. You know, where it's just a great, from my experience, was a great side. Now you got to deal with some BS.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. If you're going in there, like, I don't know if this is what people want to hear about right now, but if you're going in there with like not really a lot of education on basketball, and you're going to step into like the Lion's Den. Like, what are you doing out there if you really don't know the rules of basketball that much and not are invested?
The first high school game, it wasn't even a high school game. It was a summer league freshman, or it was a JV game at St. Michael, and it was East Ascension versus St. Michael. And Drew Hart, who is a great guy and is over at St. Michael, was like, "Hey man, come get some reps calling my summer league. Like, if you want to be an official, just come call this league." And, you know, at least if nothing else, it'd be great reps for you. And EA had their JV coach there, who I believe at the time was Travis Usey, who's now the head coach at Sandoval. And Kenny Allman was the varsity coach at East Ascension, and he just showed up to the game on this like random July Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And he's sitting on the end of the bench, and Allman is a Louisiana legend. He's a lot like your high school football coach, Hightower.
Okay.
Where he's tenured.
Right.
He's been there he's won championships. He's pumped out players everywhere he's been. He's been a winner, but he is an intimidating dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he is a coach's coach.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, people, like, when he walks into the room, everybody's kind of like, "Oh shit," you know, like, sit up straight. You know what I mean? Like, let me sit up straight. And I walked in there, like, they tipped off the game at 5:30. I probably pulled up in the parking lot at 5:27 and just kind of like waltzed in there, threw my whistle in my mouth, and just started running up and down the court, and didn't know what I was getting into. You know, like, didn't respect what I was kind of getting into. Just kind of took it as a rep. And they had a play, like a charge block, come right in front of me, where I just kind of swallowed my whistle. I didn't call anything at all. Like, I mean, like 4 kids are like barreled on the ground. The ball rolls out of bounds, and I just hit my whistle and like call the ball that way. And Kenny Allman follows me from where I inbound the ball. And this is 3 minutes into the game.
Oh, it's like right.
This is the first call of the night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm not even ready for relief. Met it up. You know what I mean? Like, from the car, like, just kind of like walk in, like the game's tipping off.
Wow.
And the first call comes to me, and Kenny Allman follows me up and down the court from behind the benches. And there's nobody in the gym. It's just parents and, like, you know, like, some of the parents aren't. It's summer league game. Nobody's there. So, I mean, it's echoing in the gym. And he is following me up and down the court for like 3 possessions and just telling me, if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be here. If you don't know what to do with that whistle, you should just go give it to somebody up in the stands. And I'm doing my best to keep my eyes on the game, but I'm so scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, one of the best high school coaches in the history of the state is up my ass right now and wants my head on a platter. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to serve me up. Kind of like, "Drew, where'd you get these guys?
Make an example.
Who is this guy?" You know what I mean? I got kids out here trying to get better, and these are the officials that you get me? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my, I mean, I'm pale white.
Yeah.
I'm so scared to blow the whistle, I can't even call a walk. You know what I mean? If somebody ran with the ball down the floor, I don't even know how they called it. I mean, and if I'd have blown the whistle, it wouldn't even have echoed in the gym. I was so scared. But it was and he pulled me over at halftime, and he said,
"Swallow that thing."
He said, "Are you Jordy?" He said, "Are you Culotta?" He said he knew my grandfather. and he said, and he taught me a lesson, kind of like, if you don't respect every game that you come into and what it takes to be an official at this level, don't come back. And I remember like leaving there, like
that's good. You took that well,
head
then.
down, shoulders down, but thinking like, I appreciate Kenny Allman. You know what I mean? Like
my ass
one of the
out.
best ever. Like that he didn't like physically remove me from the gym. That he like mentally taught me a great lesson of, and I never disrespected it ever again.
And that's
what I mean.
like
I never showed, because everybody's there. It's their biggest. Somebody's biggest game.
Dude,
It's somebody's biggest game.
That is. Like, your biggest mistake in whatever you do is usually your best learning.
Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world.
It is. Like, so your, like, referee blunder was my blunder in the big leagues in the outfield. I had fielded a ground ball, and we were playing the Rangers. I was in Tampa, and this was when I was still early. This is when I was trying to establish myself. We played Texas, and they're, like, known as, like, an unbelievable, ultra-aggressive base running team, which is great. And so I go, and I field a ground ball up the middle. There's a guy on first base.
Center?
I was in center. There's a guy on first. Guy hits a base up the middle. No way for me to get him going. If he's going first, third, it's not hit hard enough. There's no way. I pick up the ball. I see him. He's not even at third base yet. Probably 2 or 3 steps away. I lob the ball to the cutoff man because, the play's over with. Not ever. He looks back. He sees me, and he times it. The minute I let it go, he goes home. We don't get the guy at home. We lose. I mean, that's not the walk-off, but we ended up losing the game. It was a close game. And, like, I was sick to my stomach because I knew better, but, like, I didn't respect the situation. I assumed that, this guy is, like, not going to go home. Like, he's not even at third base yet. I have the ball. And I flipped it to the cutoff man, and he baited me, and he timed me, and he rounded. And it was a great play by him. But I got my ass chewed.
No doubt.
And I didn't get my ass chewed by the coaches. I got my ass chewed by, like, Longoria looked at me, and he looked at me, and, like, he goes, "You fucking know better than that." I was like, "I know I do. I know I fucked up. That's my bad." And, like,
Never again.
Yeah, never again.
Never
fucking
again.
hard, right to the fucking thing.
Absolutely.
Dude,
nobody on
thing.
base or anybody's
Don't
on
care.
base. I don't care, man.
Bro, the second baseman's taking a
thing.
heater, and you're
Bro,
like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know, but I'm
Absolutely.
just coming this thing hot.
And still to this day, I have that relationship with Ullman where it doesn't matter. He'll shake my hand, and you know what I mean, and he'll know. Like,
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a life lesson, bro. That's
a
a
head
big
pat every
thing.
time. You know what I mean? Good to see you, son.
And being high during that is the worst feeling of all
Oh
time
my
because
God,
you
dude.
can't get out of that
Oh
spin
my
cycle.
God.
You get that
It's
knot in your stomach,
you're
and you're
like,
like,
oh, I should have done that.
I'm dead.
And then you want to go home and
I'm
be
in a
like, well, I
corner.
don't want this anymore. Like, God, sit here.
I'm gonna go to the car.
I'm going to watch some referee highlights.
Remember, Daily, we are brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Cajun Ready Mix is online at CajunRMC.com. You can find them there, or you can get in touch with them with an easy phone number at 225-372-5060. 372-5060, 225 area code. Residential, commercial, industrial, municipal projects. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is ready for you as they provide concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. They got 9 plants around the greater Baton Rouge area, so to you, the customer, that means that all of your concrete will be on time and completed to the exact specifications. High-quality products, grade A equipment, clear safety standards. That's what you get when you deal with our friends over at Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. CajunRMC.com. We'll be back. We'll talk more about what's going on here. LSU basketball on an extended break, so LSU's head coach Will Wade and the crew out recruiting right now. We'll get back more to this football discussion, obviously, as Brian Kelly and the crew try and round out who is going to be on staff. If you missed last night's conversation with Mickey Joseph and B.J. Ojulari, I would urge you to go back and check it out. It's really good, insightful, informative content from Joe. I think Joseph was here 30 minutes.
It was it was a platform.
I mean,
he had to talk about respect for the game. He respected the game. Like he kind of bared his soul out a little bit.
Joe Burrow stories, recruiting stories, Jamar Chase recruiting stories, some of the stories on the practice field of Greedy Williams and Terrace Marshall, Derek
cool
Stingley,
stuff,
Jamar Chase, Keyshawn Butte. Great, really good insight on Butte, on where he is just kind of mentally as a player. Said he came in his first year. I mean, you forget Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Keyshawn Butte were all on the same spring roster before Chase decided to walk away from it. And Mickey Joseph last night was talking about how Butte would show up to the practice field every day intent on taking that number 1 wide receiver role.
I
That's a
love
true
that,
friend.
man.
It is
That's
so,
why he wanted.
I mean,
God
last night
dang.
when he was telling the story, I had goosebumps. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, and getting to know Kayshawn a little bit here through this last season, I mean, no doubt. Ain't no doubt. I mean, nobody
business.
thinks anybody's better than number 1 than number
Number
one.
one.
And that's
You have to
you
have
have
it.
to have that.
He's
You
got
have
it.
to have that.
And he is. I mean, he led the league in touchdowns
Touchdowns.
a month after he was hurt. It's crazy. I mean, that is wild. I mean, that's one of those stats where you're like, say what? But if you missed any of that, check it out. RMB Builders brings back all of our stuff. rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com. Please spread the word. Check it out. Let people know.
Let no people know.
That we are here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Big week over that new DL. The new.
A lot of big weeks. We said I love that. Every
Yes,
week's get bigger and
it
bigger.
is. They're getting bigger and bigger.
mopped.
We're getting closer.
Well, we
mopped.
are.
We
We are
mopped.
closer. We're closer to. Well, the internet's hooked up. This week we get wired. We get the Wi-Fi wired up. We'll start hanging some televisions and looking at the setup. It's going to be. We're going to have to time this thing right because we're going to have to break everything down from this undisclosed location and bring it back to the to the new
New
spot, and then we've got to get up and operating and try and miss as little amount of time as possible. So a weekend is probably going to make as much sense as anything that we do. But we will be up and operating from the new DL, the Noodle. Here
It's gonna be a
at some
great
point.
look.
Yeah.
It's sleek. It's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be nice,
It's gonna be
bro.
nice.
It's gonna be awesome.
A lot more room.
We'll be right back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Rohan's going to be here at some point before we get out of here at 9 o'clock. He'll be talking about more about this LSU stuff, what he thinks on Brian Kelly, all of the state championship games. I was up in New Orleans over the weekend watching state championship football. Emory Jones is a
Who won?
Killer.
Who won? I know Catholic won.
Catholic one. That was the only game I saw, though. That was the
Anybody
only game
know
I
any-
saw. That
who
was
they
the only
played?
game I
Jesuit?
saw. They played Jesuit.
Best
Was it a
high
good
school-
game? Was it a
best
good game?
High school, maybe either performance in the dome or game in the dome you've seen, because you've seen a lot of them.
Ooh. Let me think on that. Be right back with
Okay.
Jordy Culotta
Oh,
Show.
one more for you. Dick Bavetta, alive or dead?
I've got him alive.
Alive?
Who are we talking about?
Dick Bavetta, the old referee that raced Charles
Let's see,
Barkley.
Barkley kissed on the mouth.
I don't even know who that is.
I'd
I
have
can't
him
even
alive.
Think he's. We'll find out when we come back.
I'd have him alive. He moved too well just a couple of years ago to
yeah,
be dead.
he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny Manziel tried to kill the internet tried to kill Johnny Manziel yesterday.
What happened?
I don't know. They had some story about him that he was.
I mean, what do you think, Johnny Manziel?
Dead.
Johnny Manziel could die any weekend.
Oh, killed him like literally
Like
it
it
really
There
opened
was,
him.
like there were stories out there that like he had
Johnny
died over the
Manziel's
weekend.
dead.
They had the fake Johnny Manziel story.
Oh,
I
damn.
believe it. Like that and Lil Wayne
Right.
are the two that
Well,
are always.
that's one that'll get you.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
like,
mean?
I
Kinda
can
like,
see him being
okay.
dead.
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Dick Bavetta though, alive.
Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022, 485-8022 is where you can find Hebert's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Scott Oldham, going to miss the basement look of the UDL. We will too, Scott, but you'll love the noodle as we will be set to open that up. I think January 4th is going to be a great day to show that thing off, bro.
Huge day.
I mean, you got a football game and a basketball game.
Yep.
Huge game on both fronts.
I mean, by that point, I think we're going to be pretty much all done. Like, not just the studio
We better
part.
be, buddy.
Yeah.
Or I'll freak out on Lloyd like I did last night.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, you saw your podcast parents argue last night. Poor, like you said, poor Noah was just sitting there like a kid just waiting for his dinner. He's like, well, they're going to get through this at some point, and I'll be here. So y'all just get to air this out.
We appreciate you starting your day with us. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, dislike button. Just show yourself inside the bunker if you hit the dislike button. We want to keep tallies and receipts. Really, we just want to know the score. I hate the fact that they took the number away, bro.
Isn't it, listening to y'all argue, like, how awkward was it when you're at a friend's house growing up and their parents start arguing? You're like,
it was exactly that.
It's the worst. It was
exactly
You're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like,
But I always kind of appreciated the people that went all in. I thought it was always more awkward, the parents that tried to hide the arguing.
Because you can still hear
it. Yeah, you're
it.
in. Like, I mean, like, this point, you've got my attention. I'm wanting to know more. If you would just motherfuck each other, I would walk out of the room.
8 p.m. on the dot.
Yeah, right.
Has it ever been, like, do you remember whenever you were a kid and do you feel like it was about you, like, can I stay the night again? Like, and they're, like, the parents are going back and forth, like, I don't want this kid here again, but they've already said yes, you're trying to call your friend. Like, whenever the kind of argument is about you and you're like, dude, these aren't even my parents, I don't even know what I did. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out.
No.
You've never been in that spot where, like, I feel like they're arguing about me staying the night.
I did start an argument at the parents' house. I walked through the house with mud on my shoes on the rug.
Oh, no.
And nobody could figure it out. And then the shoes were in the room, and it was my shoes.
How quickly did you know it was you?
I knew it was me as soon as.
Did you admit it?
Well, I had to. It was our shoes were off in the room, and they were like, "Whose are these?"
Oh,
I think he wore mine.
Were they mad?
Those are mine.
Were they? Did
for
they?
Sure.
Did they discipline you?
Right.
They scorned. Like, did they discipline you?
I just kind of
it's a tough spot for
Were you
you.
close enough with them? Because, like, you're best friends.
No,
and you're always your best friends.
I was close enough with him. I was definitely close enough with him, which is always I appreciated. Now, the further you get away from those relationships, those are the ones as kids that I most appreciated. Like the ones that weren't your parents,
but felt
that
like your
cared
parents.
about you enough to discipline you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
those are your best friend's parents.
Absolutely. And this was a best friend parent.
Yeah.
And this was a major disciplinary moment for
Like they have to do something.
them and us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's tough.
I caught the giggles during church one time with another set of parents, Catholic church too, and we were like both sitting like it was me and my buddy. Shout out T. We were both right next to each other, and we were giving like the elbow, like to like kind.
He pulled back.
He pulled back.
I've done that
boom,
too.
and I hit the pew, and it was the loudest thing. And the time, and I was just like, she looked at me, Miss Bev, Mama Bev, Lede, looked at me like she was my mother. I was like, I am so fucked, dude. Like I'm about to get scorned by not my parents,
But
which
the
is
elbow-
a terrible feeling.
The elbow game always gets you, dude.
And he pulled back at the right time, and I
Always.
smacked the pew, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go home. I'm hearing it from two sets of people.
I was taken home in the middle of the night by a parent because we got caught sneaking out. You know what I mean? So it's like as soon as we got home, you in the truck, you up in bed.
You're
I'm
bad news,
I'm going to
dude.
deal with you in 10 minutes. I'm going to drop him off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Culotta's not coming
tough.
over anymore.
Right. It was kind of like the beef jerky guy, too, when we knocked on the parents' door. Like, he didn't call them and tell my parents we were coming over.
Little stoop kid, just leave
kinda,
him.
yeah. Bang, 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 bang. You
Might as well
know?
left you at the firehouse.
My
I
mom was
always,
like,
I always did the whole I'm gonna ask the parents in front of the kids. So like I'm asking my mom in front of my friend because she can't say no.
absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
like she even though she doesn't.
That's an
want-
early move.
Yeah.
Early
Oh
move.
yeah.
Third,
Oh, yeah.
like, that's where Jordan is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's been doing that for the last 3 years.
He's got you.
You know what I mean? Can Rye spend the night?
What's right parents say? Then you put it on the kid.
right,
yeah.
right.
Get him call his mom.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Relief Med.
Hey.
RELEAF med.com. Get in touch with our friends over at Relief Med. Easy to go through the process. I mean, really and truly, the people that have gone through it stop them and tell me how simple it is. All you got to do is go to reliefmed.com. Click on the link, Get Relief Now. You'll see a lot of the qualifying conditions there. In fact, you can click on the link of qualifying conditions. You'll find out things like anxiety, migraine, headaches, PTSD, nausea, seizures, all of it really will qualify you for medical marijuana here in the state of Louisiana. Get a Louisiana physician recommendation for medical marijuana from our friends over at Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. All you do is click that Get Relief Now link right there on the home page, and you can get in touch with a doctor very easily. It'll be a video chat or an online chat to get you recommended to a pharmacy, and then before you know it, you'll be in your in the pharmacy picking up your medicine, your medical marijuana. Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. Reliefmed.com is where you find them online. All right, the Tommy Moffitt story. Where are we on this? I said this last night. Mocktook, you live in a world that is very cutthroat, right? Where the day that you start your job, there is somebody trying to take your job.
Right. You're trying to take somebody else's job.
Absolutely. Same goes for you. Tommy Moffitt lives in a college football world that is very cutthroat, very disgusting business where people are always kind of to try and gain a step on somebody. Anytime you say 21 years in any industry, that has got to be deemed a success. 21 years at the same program in college football is an eternity.
3 different coaches.
3 different coaches, 3 national championships, and relationships and impacts of those relationships that go 10 million miles that you probably can't even calculate the impact that Moffitt has had on the life. You listen to B.J. Ojulari and you listen to Mickey Joseph last night, and it is true. The strength coach spends more time with the team than the actual coaching staff does. All of those days in the middle of the summer where guys are in there from sun up to sundown, going through weightlifting, on the field development training, there is pretty much one staff overseeing that process, and that is Moffitt and his group every day. Where you were talking, I mean, I have had the opportunity to see former LSU players, Mocktook including in that mix, where when they get around Moffitt, like the Jacob Hesters, the T-Bobs, the Rohans, the people that were in the program that played, that were there every single day, the relationship that they have with Moffitt is so obviously and clearly deeper than anybody that was there while they were on campus. It just like jumps out at you. So when I saw the news come through the wire over the weekend that Moffitt was not being retained, I cannot say that I was surprised. But I can say that it did punch me in the gut to think that LSU will take the field without Tommy Moffitt as the strength coach. And the last time that happened, I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly, the last time that happened, I was 19 years old. So, I mean, it is just wild to say out loud that Moffitt made it 21 years in college football alone, that he made it at one school. And he has more years. He was at Tennessee before that and he's experienced a ton of success. But his run at LSU, 21 years, the amount of lives that he's impacted, the on-the-field success, the stories, the relationships, all of it that's been wrapped up into his experience at LSU is somebody that'll go down, I think, in the lores of kind of legendary status at LSU.
No doubt. And he'll always be welcome back,
Yeah.
even if I don't know if he's going to go coach anywhere, if he wants to be a strength coach anywhere else. But you talk about his impact, and you look at all the people that were, he was a mentor to,
Sure.
or people trained underneath him. Like the guy at Alabama,
Scott Cochran.
Yeah, he was a disciple of
Moffitt,
and had turned himself into one of the best strength coaches in the country, and now he's on field at Georgia.
That's right.
Right? So he went from being a strength coach to an actual coach on the field. And I think for me, I didn't play football here, but Moffitt is in charge of all of the strength and conditioning for everyone. So, we obviously had a strength coach for baseball, but Moffitt still oversaw him. And Moffitt had a different type of relationship with us baseball players. I think it was because his son played baseball. I think it's because he understood. I think what made him
watched a lot of baseball.
Yeah, and then what made him so awesome to me was he didn't treat. It wasn't like, oh, football is better than everything, and it's like, if you play a different sport, you don't get the respect of me because you're not a football player. You're not here. He wasn't like that.
Yeah.
He understood every sport had their own type of way of working out, and he understood what baseball meant. And for us baseball guys, we would leave and we'd come back and we had access to all of it. We had access to the indoor football facility. We had access to the weight room. We had access to the training room if we needed it before they built all this stuff at a baseball. And it's to be a football strength coach and to be that welcoming to other sports is, a testament to him as a person. And like you said, he's one of those guys that I made sure the first thing I did when I got home, before I started working out, was I'd spend a day and I'd just go talk to him for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whenever he had some downtime, just say, hey, I'm back, catch up, and then come back in. We had that type of relationship, which was, you don't get that with a lot of strength coaches.
He's got an open door policy with a lot of people, man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When I would just be walking through there some mornings just to kind of go do something or pick up something, he would always wave you in and just kind of give you some cool story about probably one of his sons doing something on the athletic field or in the academics. Or, we were even talking about Clay the last time that we talked on some of the stuff that he's got going on at Altus Wealth Management with that group and on the field training that he's doing over at Traction. I mean, a lot of that stuff is, I think, really cool for him to really see in this point in his career. And Rob Boudreaux asked a pretty interesting question. So he says, do you think some of this was Tommy's decision too, meaning he was leaning towards retirement? Possibly, I don't know. But I got to imagine that 21 years under the same roof and the same program, as much as, the sentiment as I see inside of the bunker of people saying that, Moffitt's time had passed. It was time for Moffitt to go. It was time for Moffitt to be removed. All that stuff. I got to imagine that Moffitt probably feels a little bit of that too. You know what I mean? I'm sure from human nature, you're starting to say, I've just about impacted as much as I can here. I've done as much as I possibly can here. I've impacted so many lives that it may be time to step away. I mean, he's got great pension. He's made a ton of money. His kids are very successful.
I can see him doing some private stuff.
See him just doing
Absolutely.
some private training and just kind of hanging out and being Tommy Moffitt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the name Tommy Moffitt, like you point out. I mean, where we look at coaching trees around the country, where Saban's tree has really bloomed and blossomed into a cool tree to kind of look at, a lot like Bill Parcells did back in the day in the NFL. Tommy Moffitt's strength and conditioning tree is stupid.
Right.
I mean, his disciples, his understudies are everywhere. Baylor, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, all over the place. Tennessee. I mean, everywhere Jimbo at Texas A&M. I mean, everywhere is 6 degrees of Tommy
you talked
Moffitt
to-
in the strength and conditioning department. There is 6 degrees of Tommy Moffitt all over college football coaches or college football weight rooms
Even
across
baseball.
the country.
The baseball training,
Yeah.
the weight guys, the weight trainer, like the trainer and the training staff, like the strength coaches in baseball, because most of these guys didn't just come up through baseball. Like most of them probably had they did some football stuff out of college or whatever, and they all say, "Hey man, how's Tommy Moffitt? Like wasn't Tommy your strength coach?" They all know him because of how well respected he is in that industry.
Yeah, I hated to see the news. Like I said, I can't say that I was surprised, and I don't necessarily disagree with thinking that it was time. And this goes about to what we were speaking of earlier in the show. I am trusting Brian Kelly with running the LSU football program. I trusted Scott Woodward to hire the right guy. And if to me, Scott Woodward trusts that Brian Kelly is the guy to step out of the way and allow him to run the football program, if it means making tough decisions like letting go one of the stalwarts and names and faces of LSU that you really recognize the place with, well, I mean, that's what you signed up for. And that's what you're supporting. And that's who Brian Kelly is, and that's what he believes is the best way to run the program. And right here, right now, I'm in on it.
Because this is the first opportunity you've seen of the old guard changing, right? Like, isn't this the first move that you could make to say Brian Kelly is absolutely putting his foot down and saying, LSU football is changing. We're stripping this thing we're stripping the paint off this thing. Because Tommy Moffitt is as ingrained in LSU football culture as probably anybody. And it makes you wonder who he has to possibly on the line. Because I don't think he would fire Tommy Moffitt if you don't have somebody else. And the Notre Dame strength and conditioning coach has said, I'm staying.
Yeah.
And everybody at Notre Dame has said they're staying.
I think you saw like the type of strength.
It was his first power move.
Well, and the type of strength staff he had at Notre Dame
was off the charts.
but they're like more of the new age strength staff,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's kind of maybe where he's gonna go. But I agree with you. I think he probably already has
somebody named.
who he wants to be the guy.
But it's not going to be the Notre Dame guy. Like
No.
it's kind of I don't know what it. I don't want to
But
say.
Alabama went that way too. Alabama's strength staff is very new age.
And look, this was that Kirby Smart and Scott Cochran were very calculated on that move. That was something that they obviously got together and
it's a
said,
Scott Woodward.
Look, we're
type
gonna
conversation.
we're gonna make ourselves better, and we're gonna try and cut the legs out of our competition, because Kirby Smart knew, and both Cochran knew how much invested interest Saban put into that position. And I mean, the last time I went to an Alabama LSU football game in Tuscaloosa, I forget the year, but Cochran was there, and
God, he's a superstar.
It was unbelievable.
It was the Scott Cochran show.
I mean, they had him on the Jumbotron on third downs telling everybody to stand up, and he was yelling into the Jumbotron. And, I mean, the camera would find him on the sideline and point. And I was thinking to myself, I cannot believe that Nick Saban allows this to happen in his program where it's clearly about somebody else. And not to say that Saban is still this glory hound and wants it all Mimi, but just that it's not about the program and it's not about the team and it's about the strength coach.
Because you see LSU do that stuff, like you see, but it's players that are doing the third down. Everybody stand up,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Damone Clark.
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
not your strength thing. It's not Tommy Moffitt on the screen.
It is.
It was bizarre.
It was.
Scott he gave him an inch and he took a mile.
But once he left, they went a different route. Like the strength staff now at Alabama isn't like that anymore. Now it's more.
But what you say, Georgia, before they played.
So back to my bad. I didn't mean to get distracted, but so Alabama, when that happens, I mean, people are like, what are they going to do? Who are they going to get? I mean, what's the staff going to be? And they go hire 2 guys, David Ballou and Dr. Matt Ray, and they've kind of changed Alabama's program around. And I believe they were from Indiana. They were very much off of the radar. And this was obviously something that Saban was recruiting before he got the news of Cochran being out. And I'm sure that Kirby and Scott couldn't keep that. They probably couldn't keep that a secret, because it was just they were best friends.
You're cuckolding.
Kirby got the job. They're
Right.
always vacationing together. Saban's probably thinking, you know what? At some
gone.
point,
He's
Yeah.
liking him.
they're
more than
gonna
he's liking
They're gonna
me.
put a knife in my back.
Yeah.
They're gonna think that they're gonna get me, and I'm gonna be
Plain
two steps
sight.
ahead of these guys, and I'm gonna make sure because it was like Georgia announced Cochran as the special teams coach, and Alabama named the strength
Yeah.
coach like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like they were
Ready.
ready for it, and I believe they were from Indiana, but. And like I was reading something, it might have been one of Cecil Hurt's last pieces at the Tuscaloosa News, where they had written about the drop off in the issues that Alabama was having from an injury standpoint. What do they call it? Tendon, like they were stretching tendon, like ligaments. They were having something was happening
with the Tua injury, and like they were having to do. Is that like part of it where they're having to do this weird
Alabama was
surgery?
going through almost like LSU
LSU
baseball
baseball.
did with the Tommy John thing, where it was like
What's
everybody was running
Obviously,
into some
something's-
problems, and they were wondering, is it the on-the-field stuff? Is it the weight room stuff? They don't know what it is. And as soon as they hired these guys, they saw like a 75% decrease in these types of injuries, and it was just very forward-thinking. So I think that this part of the program is you got to highlight this stuff, man. There's Roe. As Roe's walking up, we can talk to him about that. That's a great. That is a great story to talk to Roe about. Remember, A-Bear Specialty Meats brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. A-Bear Specialty Meats located in Geismar on Highway 73, and then, of course, Robert's Market, Robert's Grocery Store, right here in Baton Rouge in the Kenilworth Shopping Center on Highland Road, right next to Superior Bar and Grill. Pick up all of your holiday needs over there. If you're looking just to feed the family this week, you can pick up a deboned stuffed chicken, or you can pick up a turducken. All of those
They got
selections
They got a mini
for you.
turducken.
Yeah, a little
for
10-pounder, bro.
Christmas. Let's
Well,
go.
10-pounder. If you want to pick that up. Robert's Grocery Store. Inside Robert's Grocery Store, stop and check out A-Bear Specialty Meats. Proud supporter here, the Jordy Culotta Show. Also on Highway 73 in Geismar. Dutchtown Shopping Center is where you can find A-Bear Specialty Meats. abearsmarkets.com online. But anything you need for the holidays, man, check them out. They already got the holiday specials online for you, which you can just kind of select and then go pick up from whatever location you'd like. Of course, out in Geismar and over here in Baton Rouge and Robert's Grocery Store, A-Bear Specialty Meats. Rohan Davey next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. What up, baby? Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Little post-production meeting there, boys.
A lot going on.
Good to see Big Ro on the set.
Conversation.
Everybody get your motherfucking Rohan. It is good to see you, Six. How are you?
I'm chilling, baby. I'm chilling. I want some money on Alabama. I'm good.
Ooh, Alabama. What a... that was so easy last week to pick them.
Yo, I don't even everybody drunk the Kool-Aid,
You're giving them momentum, too?
It was yummy. It was yummy, baby.
Yeah, right. They gonna win it.
Saving. That rat poison
they gonna
was
win
good.
it,
dude. That rat poison was yummy. It was yummy.
And he's gonna win it with one of his worst teams.
Did you see his face? Did you see that little smirk
on the stage when he won it?
When he was talking about it being yummy.
Yeah, dude.
Did you see a little smirk? It was like, you mother.
Yeah, like y'all so stupid.
Y'all doubted me.
Y'all thought I just was gone. Like Kirby was just gonna come in here and do it. You know I have his number.
You can see Kirby. You can see Kirby's face early. When Williams hit the long touchdown, they showed Kirby. He took the visor off. He started kind of scratching his head. I thought, Kirby, it's over, baby. It is over for you today.
No idea how. I'm sure the state of Georgia, the Georgia State Troopers, the AD, his wife. I'm sure they all kept an eye on him throughout the night after that. I mean, that's dog.
He might have pulled an Urban Meyer fake heart attack.
They're fucked,
dude.
They're fucked.
Yeah,
dude. That.
Nuh-uh.
But the thing about it is, man, the game plan that Alabama had offensively and the front-running mentality of Kirby and the Georgia Bulldogs all played in the Coach Saban's hand.
Yeah.
You saw 7-0, everybody hoop line, they do. 10-0, they hoop line, high five, and they kicking up their heels.
Yeah.
And I used to say this all the time, dog, and I always laugh when I see this happening. Because all it do is go back to when he first came in and he was like, and it was really games where he was trying to change the scope of the team and trying to change our mentality to not watching the scoreboard, to just play football, play one play. And it was actual games where I never even knew the game was over until they said it was over.
Right. That's a good spot to be in.
Right.
That's a good place to be, yeah.
And when I see Georgia high-fiving and doing all that and dude, it's playing right into their hands. Because the one thing you know is this, Alabama is not going to lose because of lack of athletes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you know is they're not going to lose. They could, but not likely you're going to lose because of lack of coaching. Right? So now it's just whether or not who's game planning things. And the freaking game plan from running them boys side to side and the first down and second down. Dude, it was unbelievable.
Their offensive line played. They protected them, like because you knew if you got to the third level that they were vulnerable, but nobody could ever get to the third level.
The weakness was the secondary,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And
the weakness was the secondary.
They protected, dude, and they fucking exploited the shit.
How good is Bryce Young?
Bryce Young is the best quarterback in college football right now. And the reason I say that is because of his youth, because of his poise, because of his accuracy, and because of the stage that he plays on week in and week out. Bryce Young pulse never elevates. Bryce Young's pulse never deviates. Bryce Young is on even keel the entire time. And Bryce Young don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? For real. Bryce Young's mentality, I know he doesn't come off with his verbiage or the way he even move. He a pretty boy and all that. But Bryce Young don't give a fuck, and Bryce Young would tear your ass up. He's proven that week in and week out. And I said that yesterday with talking to Jimmy when we were doing our show. The only way Alabama win that game before the game even started is if Bryce Young wins the Heisman in that game. And that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely did.
That's exactly what he did. He showed that the poise, he showed the accuracy. And to my point, dude, this is why I say the game plan of them, even number 4 being injured junior, and they running him wide, and them big boys can't. Then the up-tempo to keep 99 and 88 on the field. The up-tempo to keep them on the field.
They had their hands on their knees.
Dude, at one point, they was like this.
Yeah.
It was Velcro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you've never seen a quarterback sit in the pocket and direct traffic in the pocket and then throw a strike to the corner with two cornerbacks on him and then another corner sitting 5 yards in front of the 5. He directed traffic. Wasn't moving out the pocket. He was in the pocket, and they was Velcroed up.
Yeah.
And that pocket was clean as a whistle, man. From the third quarter on to the
was.
fourth quarter,
He was
there
playing-
was no pressure.
He was playing
Georgia,
7-on-7.
they got a bunch of plugs.
No pressure.
They don't have B.J. Ojolari.
No, they don't have a
Like
pass
they don't
rusher.
have a pass. They
No,
don't
no.
have a dude that can get out. For as scary as they look
What?
defensively, they don't have that freaky guy that can wreck the game.
What they do is they want to bring.
They
that
wanna muck the
end
game up.
They want to bring that end up and plug the middle.
Uh-huh.
They want to plug the middle and try to bring that one end up to try to rush. But it's not happening when them big boys ain't getting no pressure. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They
and
were
in the
toast.
second and in the third quarter on, once they had him on the field for so long and was dragging him out and saving, not saving, they kept the up tempo. Yeah, man, there was times when them boys took 2 steps.
Yeah.
And just
And they put the head down.
yeah, it was just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, whoo, whoo.
When you saw Jordan
I mean,
Davis,
it
who
was
was
crazy,
the
though.
biggest freak of the year. People want him to win the Heisman, and you
Oh,
saw him
I still
get,
take him.
brother-in-law.
I
Definitely
still
still
take
take him for
I
sure.
still take him.
Oh,
But
no,
he
I'm
got-
saying, but you saw the 2 steps and brother-in-law, like, get me out of this
But
game.
Jordan Davis is first and second down.
Exactly.
We know that.
Yeah.
He knows that.
But
he
even-
knows
but
he's
he's toast then.
25 to 30 plays a game, probably 20 max. So the point is to keep him on the field, to keep 88 on the field. They're not their pass rushers.
Right.
You want them on the field. Now you can have one guy, which Alabama has a terrific offensive line. So let's not take anything away from them. But once you have a Jordan Davis that's not moving, that's not giving nowhere near the effort he's giving on first and second,
Right.
because he's gassed.
Yeah.
So now we can chip the end with the running back and knock his ass off. Jordan Davis, man to man, he's not going anywhere. And that's exactly what you had third and fourth quarter. It was a cakewalk.
It
And
was.
that's what allows you to run the crossers like that
Cakewalk.
because you
Yeah.
got time for
Cakewalk.
everything to come open.
Well, the
Because
thing
you don't
about
worry
it is-
about
It felt
pressure.
100-0.
Georgia played predominantly zone coverage behind everything.
Really?
Yeah, they play predominantly zone
Because they want
coverage.
to get pressure with 4.
They want to play predominantly zone coverage. And the reason they're playing predominantly zone coverage is because that's what Georgia plays. Georgia's not a man coverage team. Georgia played a lot of zone yesterday behind. And that's why you seen not the intermediate cross, not the underneath crossing route, but you saw the intermediate crossing route.
Coach, how fast
Yeah.
was
Behind the linebackers.
how
That's what I'm
fast was one on the crosser to the
listen,
house?
dog, listen, man.
The safety from Georgia,
He's a bird.
I'd imagine never in his life
He's never seen
as
that.
he ever thought, I'm about to hit or
Nah,
catch this
he-
guy
yeah.
and whiff him.
No,
he didn't
was
touch him.
He didn't touch him.
He didn't touch him.
He was running at first like he was about to pull up on him.
Yeah, yeah,
He
right.
was
That's what I'm
he was
saying.
coasting into it.
Right,
then
like
he
I'm
saw-
about to knock him off.
That boy hit a whole nother gear.
You think Mechie being out now hurts them? Because
Somebody else gonna step up.
Yeah, somebody else will,
Yeah.
but he is.
I think it does.
He is a
because
dog.
you got,
Absolutely.
now
He
you
is a
can now
dog.
you can put more on.
Damn, I
on-
hated that
on
for
Williams.
him,
I
man.
hated
Yeah,
that
know.
for him too.
I know.
I hated that for him too.
It's-
I definitely think he's gonna hurt him.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Absolutely. Messi's special, man.
Yeah,
He's
right.
like Waddle of last year. He's
No
special.
doubt,
no
He's
doubt.
special. He's
Yeah.
special. But somebody else gonna step up.
Is anybody going to beat them?
Bama?
Yeah.
Bama could be beat. They
I
could
mean,
be
we've
beat.
seen it.
But like in the top 4, so like they got the
They
best
gonna
draw,
mutt
right? Like
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
They gonna mutt
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
they
You have to
they
be able
will
to get
run
pressure
them.
on 'em.
They
So
gonna
now
mutt
he's
Cincinnati.
got confidence going into the Natty
Oh, they gonna
versus
mutt
Michigan or
Cincinnati.
Georgia. And Georgia, you know what I mean? Like Georgia got exposed on Saturday. You'd imagine twice. It could be worse in
Well,
my
I think the
opinion.
game that watches Michigan and Georgia.
That's what
Sure,
I'm about to say. 'Cause
absolutely.
that defensive end at Michigan is the real freaking deal.
The game
Like
that watches Michigan.
he's gonna like Georgia's offense. Just they showed you they're not made to come back, right? Like they're not made to just throw the ball around. And like if Michigan has that, and they're pretty physical. If Michigan scores a touchdown, and you have to let what's his name
Stetson Bennett.
throw with Aiden Hutchinson, who's like 15 sacks this year. He's gonna be a top. They're talking about him being picked over
Thibodeau?
Thibodeau,
Wow.
and
I
so.
wouldn't take that.
Yeah.
But they're having this guy like that guy's gonna get after. He's gonna get to the quarterback
This-
a couple times.
This is the thing with him. I always say that when you have a singular pass rusher, you can neutralize a singular pass
No
rusher.
doubt.
If you have two,
Right.
and in the interior, then it's more of a problem. So if it's one, you can neutralize them with a chip. I agree with Mado. The fact that you have a pass rusher of his standard that can get home, I honestly think, bro, Georgia offensively have not shown what they can do.
Right.
Georgia offensively, for whatever reason, man, they have talent on the
I mean,
flank.
Pickens is back.
Well, they
They
just
have
got Pickens
talent
back.
He just got
on
too,
the
back.
flank.
But 19,
And Stetson
Bowers,
Yeah,
Dude,
is a stud.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, they have guys. Their big ass
tight
tight
ends.
ends,
Yeah.
they have guys. And Stetson Bennett, in my opinion, if it's 50 and in, he can do whatever he
Yeah.
want with the
He's not bad.
football.
Yeah, he's
not
sneaky.
bad.
And his
He's
moxie
sneaky
of
good.
getting out, the pocket and getting out. I like that dog. I said this yesterday. I honestly don't think that. I think it'll be a game early, but I think 7. I see the spread 7 now. That's what it is. I think that's a good spread for that game. I don't think it's a pick'em game.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan wins. I just think that if somehow
And this
Michigan
the other
scores an
thing.
early touchdown, they could maybe put them in a little bit of trouble.
And this is the thing. Michigan's throwing a little bit better than they were last year. McNamara's throwing better than he was. He's a better passer than he was last year. But this is, in my opinion, this game is Michigan and Georgia. It's to me a strength on strength. Running game versus the shutting down the run from Georgia. I think that if Michigan wants to run the ball on first and second down, that shit ain't working. I really don't think it's working. I know Alabama saw some little creases on the wire, but this is the other thing, man. This isn't, you know what I'm saying, Ohio State. This isn't Iowa.
Yeah.
And I believe in what I've seen from Georgia consistently throughout the year. I think they got fucked up with this thing with Alabama. I do. I think
They're in their head.
I think they got in that front runner's mentality because I think Kirby's a front runner. And I think Kirby doesn't understand that when you've played with this man, coached with this man for so long, you should understand to have your team. Like, we're not looking at the scoreboard. We're not high-fiving and shit up 3-0, 7-0, 10-0. We got a whole rest of the second half to play. And they never realized that they got shell-shocked. They got tired. Alabama's defense wore they behind now. The offense wore them about offensive. It was all that, man. And I just don't believe that. I really don't believe that Michigan has enough to go fourth quarters with Georgia. I don't.
Yeah.
Not if they're running the ball, they'll win the game. If Michigan runs the ball,
that's hard to do.
I know. That's my thing. I just don't think Michigan gonna have enough to run the ball. And I think Georgia's secondary with the zone coverage that they play, the way they could go in and out, I think it poses a problem. I know their secondary isn't good. Yeah, but Michigan he's not Bryce Young.
Right. Does Michigan have a receiver that can do it Williams? I don't think so.
I don't think they have two.
You know what I mean? I don't think they have that guy that can split, get behind the linebackers, and once he catches,
I know they have one receiver that's pretty good. I don't remember his name. But he's not a 1. He's not an 8.
Well, their best receiver got hurt. He got hurt like the second game of the year.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan had a stud, like, first-round pick guy that got hurt in the first or second game of the year. He's gone. He ain't playing. But, I mean, 7.5 seems light to me, right? Because if you take Alabama game away, you would be like, Georgia's the best team in the country, bar none. I don't think that Michigan can do the same thing that Alabama did because, like you said, dude, Alabama's a little bit in their head. Because Kirby Smart's on the sidelines, and they're trying to kind of fake this thing, like this fake machismo, like we're better than Alabama. And Nick Saban's over there going, no, you're not, dude. Like, I know every play you're going to call. It feels like the water boy.
Right. Kirby had that look.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'm turtling. Yeah, I'm shitting my pants.
Do you think Michigan sets up with Alabama better than they set up? Like, do they match up better with Alabama than they do with Georgia?
Yes.
Michigan, I think so. Like, I think if Michigan played Alabama, Michigan would have a better chance of beating Alabama than beating Georgia. And that's not saying that obviously Alabama beat Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the style of play.
The matchup.
I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
I think that they match up with them a little bit better.
Poor Cincinnati.
As far as like Cincinnati gonna get muddy.
Poor Cincinnati.
Yeah, but this is good. We needed this.
Yeah,
we had to have a group of 5 team in the playoffs just so that we can see this.
Yeah,
we had to have.
And they draw Alabama.
I think that
it's Hawaii versus Georgia.
Yeah.
Every time you can get a SEC team in the playoffs, whether it's 1, 2, I don't care. We always seem to get 2 somehow.
But it just means more.
Anytime you have them in, I automatically match them up with whoever else.
Yeah.
I would never let them play each other. Because what's the thing from outside the conference? Everybody thinks we get privileged. Everybody thinks we're not the best. So come on over here and get this smoke, baby. Lincoln Riley ain't want it. You see where he went? Come on over here and get this smoke, Cincinnati and Michigan.
Right. What'd you make of the news of Moffitt being let go over the weekend?
I wasn't surprised. I like Coach Moffitt. Coach Moffitt came in when I was there, turned us around, bigger, faster, stronger. Been there a long time, man. Done great for the university. And just like everything else, man, everything must come to a halt sometimes. You know, sometimes you got a new regime, and now you got to respect what Coach Kelly's doing and what he's trying to bring to the organization and with the new blood and all that. So I respect the decision. I thank Coach Moffitt for everything that he's done at LSU for over the last, 20 years or so. So Yeah, it was expected, and I expect other news to come out about other coaches, whether leaving or staying and all that. So we'll see.
How important is that position to a football program?
It's what you call 10 toes down from the ground up. That's where it starts, man. It start with that. If you can't run, if you can't jump, if you're not flexible, if you're not staying healthy, if you're not strong, all the way to nutrition and everything, if you're not there with everyone else in the country, you're behind. And that's where it starts. If your athletes can't go as hard, if they're not looking like they need to look, if they're not performing at the level or being able to sustain as the top tier teams, not just in the country but in your conference. Because at LSU, man, the one thing you know, whether is baseball, basketball, shout out to the basketball team.
Yep.
I want to check them. The boy could go, boy, baby.
Yeah, good.
And shout out to the women, Monkey, baby. They can go. I love them, baby. Take them out of there, 14 down, baby. I'm telling you. But look, we got to be able to step off and listen. Listen, this is I'm so excited about LSU Sports Dog right now. What's going on with LSU Sports Dog from the baseball coach Johnson? Like and we got the final piece in there. We're bringing in Coach Kelly. So listen, I think this program right now, where we are with all the new hires at the coaching, with the attitude that all the coaches have, like they are all so fired up, so ready to
alignment,
alignment, baby. Shout out to the new coaches, man. All of them. Love you guys. Love to see this thing. Like people, I know people talking about, this Coach Kelly, we should have got a younger coach. Heard Ryan say that, and we should have did this. Listen, man, we got the right coach. You understand me? We got the right coach. If that's the case, we need a younger coach. Where does Coach Saban's a dinosaur? You know what I'm saying? Guys like that need to be thrown to the wayside.
Alligator, they don't die.
Yeah, man, baby. So we got the right one. We getting the best of Coach Kelly. That boy won a championship. That's all he care about. That's all he want. He won a couple of them to cement his legacy as a coach in college football. We were at the perfect time for us. We need a leader. We need somebody that's totally different than what we had. We got that. He want that smoke.
Yeah.
Most importantly,
he does want
that old man want that smoke.
I agree with you. I think that's the biggest thing about him.
He want that smoke.
To me, that's why LSU and Brian Kelly is such the perfect marriage. Is that Brian
and
Kelly
we need it.
needs LSU as much as LSU needs Brian Kelly.
And that's exactly why I keep saying he's gonna get the best of us from Scott and our president of what needs to be done in LSU football. William Tate.
How impressive is William Tate?
I love William Tate.
Everybody,
bring that black man in here and turn it up.
Everybody loves William Tate.
Hey,
we need to get him in the UDL.
No doubt.
Let's go get him. I'm gonna go get him, baby.
Hey, do you think you talking about alignment and talking about hiring? What do you think about the Joe Brady deal? You think Brian Kelly calls Joe Brady, or do you think Joe Brady is he's not going to be
persona non grata?
I don't think Joe Brady is interested.
Okay.
I would love for him to.
If you were, do you think
I go get him and give him $5 million?
Wow, so he's on your.
Wow.
He's on your
Thank
thing.
you.
See, I said that I like him. I want to go get him, but I'm not going to overpay for him.
Oh, I'm going to overpay for him.
I would overpay for him too.
I'm going to go get him and give him $5 million.
Really?
Yeah, I go get him, baby. Like, listen, man. And a reason, let me be clear now. I am a little biased because I've spent some time with the man. I know his mentality. I know how he is with the kids. I know how he sets the message. I know. I'm not saying like I know as far as like I know his head, but I know the passion and everything that you get with him. And honestly, but see, for me, it'll have to be a commitment for at least 3 years, though. Yeah. You can't just. It wouldn't be because he's gonna be hot every year.
That's what scares me. About
so
Brady,
it'll have to be a commitment for at least 3. I'm not gonna try to hold you hostage because I know you trying to do some things, but you got to give me 3 years where at least I know you're coming in for 3 years. Let me get somebody an understudy to be up underneath you for 3 years, whether it's a form of whatever Kelly comes up with. But I can't have him there for 1 year and gone or 2 and gone. I need 3 for somebody to be underneath him to catch it. The second year for them to really understand what he's about. And then his third year for them to understand the mentality of calling the plays, sequence of the play, like all that. Yeah. But with Coach Kelly's assistance in this. So I overpay for him for 5. I give him 3.
Because you're getting 2 coaches.
I'm giving him whatever but he got to give me 3 years. At least got to give me 3
Why do you think he got fired from Carolina? Like, what do you think the deal was there?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, those You have a strong personality in that head coach.
Matt Rule.
Yeah, very strong personality, and he's also offensive minded.
Right.
You have Joe, which he has a little swag and bravado about himself, so rightfully so.
He goes to the
We know
barbershop.
what he's done, and so sometimes this is just speculation on my part.
Sure.
You have those butting heads that we don't know about in these rooms when they putting game plans together. And this is the thing. Money makes you work out a couple things, especially when it's your first year in, you're trying to figure it out. I think that was something that was clashed at the beginning, and now it's just coming to fruition. Like, we can't deal with it no more.
Right.
We can't hide it anymore. I'm sure the players in there know. If you was to speak to any of the players, which I will, I'm sure they know. And have some inkling from the beginning. You know that, man. We've been in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know when shit ain't
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you
you
can
know
feel
when,
it.
yeah, you
No
know
doubt.
when there's a tisk. They'll say something slick to each other, say something slick. There'll be a little smirk on the football field, or
Yeah.
they ain't going to the dinner, or some bullshit. It's just how it go down. You know, but the players know this is nothing new within the organization. It's just new to us.
And there's rumors of Matt Rule kind of hamstringing Joe Brady and what he wanted to
that's
do
what I'm
on
saying. That's
offense.
all
Was
that.
there? Is there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anytime you
Yeah.
have an offensive, that's why every time you have an offensive-minded coach, especially like I don't know Matt Rule, but I see his swag and how he move, how he talk from press conference and stuff, so I formulate my own opinion. But you can tell he have a little thing about him.
Yeah.
You can tell that he want to put his imprint.
He got
on it.
head
ego.
coach.
He got ego.
Yeah,
He got
absolutely.
ego.
The boy
He's a
got
head coach
swag. Gotta
ego.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so does
on himself
Brady.
a
He
lot.
should.
I mean, I
Yes.
feel like every coach has an ego. You have to
Yeah.
have,
Man,
you
we
have to have
got
a little-
egos.
You have to have a little
Right,
bit of
right,
ego.
right.
That's why we
Yeah.
who we are. We
Yeah.
got egos, dog.
But I'm saying Rule, he's coaching with it too.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like he's.
Correct.
All right, Rohan, remember every week is presented by Fletcher Painting. Fletcher Painting is on Facebook. Make sure and find them there. Second generation commercial and residential painting company located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's not painting, it's an art. Remember over there at Fletcher Painting.
All right, baby.
Brent Venables to Oklahoma. I feel like Oklahoma is about to go into the
Treading
bottom
water.
of the
Brent
SEC.
Venables to Oklahoma. Head coach?
Head
Head
coach.
I mean, you know what? Congratulations to him. He deserved a head coaching job, man. He's been.
Didn't it feel like he just didn't like?
Didn't want one.
Like yeah, right? Like, didn't it feel like he didn't want to? He was there because he didn't want to be a head coach, and he just didn't like.
He's like, listen, I'm gonna
I
take it
can't.
before I retire.
Yeah, I can't turn this down. Like I don't want it, but I have
guess.
to go. Yeah.
I
That's what
guess
it
I'll
feels like,
take
right?
it.
It's Les Miles to Kansas.
You know, it's like, damn, I
do it
can't. I
again.
can't say no again. Like this makes no sense to say no.
Dude,
I mean, they flew the AD down to go get him. Like, flew
that's
to
gonna
his
be
house.
interesting,
It
dog.
will.
That's gonna be interesting to see what happens there.
Well, it's a total change.
Because I mean, I think anybody
Complete
knows
opposite.
Complete
what kind of play.
opposite.
Yeah, I
Lincoln
don't know.
Riley's
Anybody
a
knows what kind
defensive-minded
of
guy.
player.
Wow.
That's what I know.
Actually, it might be a good hire going into the SEC.
Yeah, maybe
playing a
that's
little
why they
defense.
did it.
We'll
Maybe
see.
That's why they did it.
Yeah, just kind of play a little off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
Um,
I don't know what he is without Clemson. He feels like he's the man that left the Colt.
Let me say this, man. So they lose Venables, their defensive coordinator, and it looks like they're about to lose their athletic director, Dan Radakovich, who was here
Yeah, I
when
remember
you were
Dan.
here.
Yeah, I
And
remember
another
Dan.
coach
And
is
he's
supposed to take the
taking,
Virginia
and he's
Tech.
about to take the Miami athletics director job. So this is a two-part question. You are from Miami. If they get the right athletic director,
Oh,
which
no.
Radakovich could
What?
be, but it looks like they're going to hire Cristobal from
Yeah.
Oregon, which
That's it. I
He
think
kinda
Cristobal. I think Cristobal's a good hire for Miami.
for Miami.
I do think Cristobal.
For Miami.
They
He's
said
kinda
about Manny-
Ogeron
yeah, well,
LSU.
That's what they said to Manny Diaz.
Huh?
That's what Manny Diaz was, though, right?
What?
Like
I
the,
didn't like
the
Manny
right hot,
Diaz.
but that's a
Yeah,
Miami
but Manny
guy.
Diaz was like a political
I didn't
guy.
like. I didn't
his
like
dad,
Manny Diaz.
His
dog.
dad was the mayor.
Right, his dad was
Exactly.
so like it was more political.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
why people liked it.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'd have never liked Manny Diaz. He got in there because of the power struggle and all that bullshit.
Right.
No, man, Cristobal is a good hire for Miami. He'll shape that program, get away. Now, if they get
Radakovich,
Radakovich,
which is on the doorstep. Like that could be.
That changes Miami
Today.
forever.
It changes Miami.
no, it does because he
knows how to do
gets
it.
Well, that's a commitment to athletics.
Gets it. That's
right?
exactly right.
Yeah.
And dude, if you get, me and Jim was talking about this the other day. College football is a lot better when either Miami or Florida State is good.
And really, when they're both good.
Right. And when Michigan is good.
USC.
When USC is good.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier,
yes, man.
Even
that's
Notre
when-
Dame. Like Notre Dame is the 5th best team in the country. Is good for college football.
Yep.
Absolutely. But you get Miami back from now and there with that fan base, with those guys, with the guys that's come through there, and get the U back rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, college football is good.
Yeah, and it looks like Lane Kiffin is going to be in Oxford next
Yeah.
year.
He signed an extension.
Yeah, he signed it. Good for him.
Yeah.
And they can only sign him to 3 years at a time, right? Isn't that the rule in Mississippi?
I don't know what the rule is, but I'm glad they signed him to an extension. Leave him there.
Is he
Right.
shocked? Do you think he's shocked to be in Oxford? I
don't
feel
think
this is
so.
like if he
No.
would have gotten
Or
the
you know
call-
what? Nobody either met his demands, or he's
How-
settled in. Like we've talked about, it's
Not gonna
time
win
for Lane
here.
Kiffin to start building
Playing
his
his flag.
football
That's
resume.
exactly right.
You know what I mean? Like Lane Kiffin,
You can't keep
if
jumping.
he keeps bouncing around, is just this big personality that has nothing to show for it.
Right.
Oxford could be
A lot of
winner.
money, but nothing to
doubt.
show for it. If he's undefeated at home and has him in a
Year six
discussion in a six.
All he
agree.
has to do is play better defense.
You know, he's Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin is one of the programs that benefits tremendously with a 12-team expansion.
Yeah.
Because if you get Ole
Yeah.
Miss into the 12-team playoff, they're one of those teams that you're like, fuck
You don't
that.
want-
I don't want to
Oh,
see
right.
Lane
They're
Kiffin
gonna
right
score
now.
60.
Right.
Yep.
You don't want to and imagine they get some kind of defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
Which is
play-
kind of he's
trying.
recruiting
That's what I'm
towards
saying.
it.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
he's
He's
trying.
recruiting towards it.
Because you have to play defense.
Yeah.
At some point, you know what I mean? At some point. So let's see. The jury's still out on Lane. The Lane train, baby. But I'm glad they gave him an extension because I want to see him in another year. I want to see him at Ole Miss for about 5 more years.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Just so
I'm
I can
with
see
you.
Y'all
where
say,
he
y'all
brings
say
it
that.
to.
I don't want to
I
see
don't.
it
I
as an
think I'm
LSU
scared of
fan.
that.
Like,
Man,
I'm
LSU
terrified of
for
them.
what?
Man.
We got to play Bama. What you
Yeah.
I know,
terrified
but I'm
of?
just trying not to
Nobody
stack
give a
up. I'm
damn.
not trying to stack up L's.
Stack 'em
Bro.
up.
Well, that's what it is.
Stack 'em
I know.
up,
That's what
man.
the SEC is. That's
Stack-
why
it's
Brian.
stacked.
That's why
I know,
Brian
that's why
Kelly's
we go to
here.
That's why
Miami.
Brian Kelly
No.
want that smoke. Nah, dog.
I'm happy for Lane. I
I'm
wanted
with
him
you.
here.
If I'm
I just don't wanna
recruit,
lose that often.
If I'm a high school football recruit, there's nowhere unless my parents played at one of these universities or something like that.
Or
There's
your
no
cut- or-
conference
or your
I'm going
uncle.
to, dog.
No
Or
way.
your uncle.
Whoever. I'm
No
going
way.
to the SEC.
Arch?
Dog.
No way.
Yeah, if you want to stack yourself up against the best players, and if you're a coach and you want to stack yourself up against the best coaches, like we just don't have the best players in the conference. We have in order for you to
Coaches,
say these,
facilities,
right, in order
TV
for-
contracts.
correct. We
All
have
of it is the best, and that's why it's a trap. If Lane's not at Ole Miss, they'll have the next best one.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Matt
Because
Luke.
they have the money. No, you know what I mean?
Who's
The
always
days of
scored?
Matt
Levy?
Luke- Jeff Levy, which I think Oklahoma is
Yeah.
throwing a ton of money.
They're
at
trying to
right
get that
now.
money
But Jeff-
back.
But why would Jeff Levy leave the offensive coordinator from Ole Miss to be offensive coordinator at Oklahoma if Oklahoma's going to be back?
I wouldn't do
Money.
Yeah, but I mean,
it. Hey, a hell of a raise now, ma.
yeah,
I know, but
I
you
mean,
got.
I wouldn't leave.
But you got
If you
Lane
think
kind of
Levy-
holding
I
your
wouldn't-
hand.
so if you think
Well, it
Levy,
depends on if that's what it is.
But if you think Levy's gonna be a head coach the next year or two, like I'd stick that thing out and just hey,
I wouldn't
let's
leave
ride
either.
this thing for another
Yeah.
year or two.
Yeah, we ride the coattails
Hey, let
of
me
Lane
go.
Kiffin's
Yeah.
offense.
Oh, I'm staying in
I
there.
wonder if that extension puts Ole Miss in the lead for Arch.
Absolutely.
Maybe Powell.
You think?
I would assume.
That seemed like it's.
I still feel like Alabama's a team to beat.
See, I don't.
Really?
I think Arch is gonna go to Ole Miss or he's gonna end up in Texas.
I think the same thing,
How about
Really?
man. Or not even end up on this side. Like I don't know how much he wants to be in the shadows of his uncle
And that's the thing.
and his
Grandfather?
grandfather and Ole Miss and just close to this area at all. I think he in some way wants
Yep.
to form his own path and do his own little thing. Because honestly, he's not in the mold of any of those.
He's really
Uh-uh.
not. Yeah, he's really not.
He's like a in between with the size and the moving ability of not art. He's like
More
Archie.
about the
and-
grandfather.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
more like Archie. Yeah.
You know, that's what about. He's
Absolutely.
more like Archie
Yeah.
than Eli or Peyton. You know, so I don't know. I agree with Ma. I don't think that he wants nothing to do with that whole smoke of the legacy and the smart. I think he wants to form his own plan. Now, whether that's Texas, whether that's
But Texas almost seems more high profile.
SC.
Yeah, but it's
Well, I
still
don't think he's running away from that.
No,
the,
no,
the-
he- well,
he
the
can't. He
spotlight.
can't.
Yeah,
No, you
yeah.
can't run away.
Yeah.
But you go to
spotlight.
he goes to Texas and he kind of makes his name and he brings Texas back to being like a legitimate
That's running
contender.
towards the smoke. That's running towards
And
the
that's
fight.
going like, hey, that's me. I'm putting myself in a
My
situation.
own legacy.
I'm about to put him over the top.
Yeah, kind of like Eli when Eli went to Ole Miss. Ole Miss was like okay, but they weren't
Right.
elite. But
Yeah.
Eli made him elite.
Yeah, you elevate him a little
Yeah.
bit.
Can't spell elite without Eli.
I don't know how elite they were with Eli.
But
Go too
elite
far
for
now.
elite
I don't know what
for.
y'all talking about.
Tripping
That's
over a
getting
left
too far.
guard.
I say elite.
Let's
for
say
like
they
what
were.
They
Let's
Okay.
say
better
they
than
were above
they were.
average.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know
But-
about the Ole Miss being elite.
I mean, he goes to
wings.
Texas with Sark, and like, I mean, he has the ability to change the landscape of that.
You think
team.
they can be elite with Lane?
Who?
Ole Miss.
Yes.
Are they elite right
no,
now?
they're not. Hell no.
No.
I think that if they get, like, if we continue to see the defense step up, like, you can't just be one-sided in the SEC. You have to at least, and I'm not saying your defense has to be like top 2 or anything like that, but you have to at least be respectable on that side to where okay, I can have the confidence if I need to get a stop, I can get a stop. So I think Ole Miss, with him running the offense or whoever, I think they could get there if that defense steps up and get to where they need to be. Like, if they get back to that land shark shit that they was doing a couple of years back, that'll be fine.
Bring
With those
Patrick Willis
athletes,
back.
they had some athletes then.
Did
dog.
they?
That Patrick Willis hit on Justin
JV.
Vincent.
Oh my God.
Bro,
Oh my
I think
God.
that all the time.
Oh my God.
That was unbelievable.
We talked to BJ Ojolari last night, and it seems like everybody's kind of in good headspace with Kelly. Do you get that same type of feeling?
I was over there after they had a meeting and all that, and my thing is I be trying to figure out, like, what the meeting was about.
Yeah, right. Somebody tell me what's going on.
What's going on? What the hell's going on? What's the feeling and all that? So 18 sat in on the meeting even though he didn't have to.
Bro, how much was he robbed?
Hey, dog, I don't even understand these people.
How does that
Me either.
happen?
I don't. I swear.
And we're talking about Damone Clark not getting
I
the
don't
Breakfast
even
Award.
understand.
And we got to get back to that thought, so let's not forget about this. You were talking about the locker room and Kelly, but
Yeah, so-
Damone Clark,
Dude.
how does
what
he
about
not
all
get the butt
SEC?
kiss, man?
He didn't make all SEC, did he?
He had to.
I think he was robbed of all SEC.
He had.
No,
He had to.
they give it
I
to
know
Tiamu.
Nakobe Dean's in the
Nakobe
SEC,
Dean.
but I mean, give me a break. Damone Clark he's the best defensive player in college football, possibly.
Who won the buckets?
Nakobe Dean.
with half the tackles.
Yeah,
Check this
69
out, Ro.
tackles, or not even 6. I don't
Ro.
even know how many tackles.
Check this
Oh,
out.
they robbed me, dog.
No. It's
Well, what I saw was he didn't make all SEC. Like, that's what I saw.
look at this.
Oh, he didn't make it.
That's
Are
what
you
I'm telling you.
kidding
That's
me?
what I
Wait.
saw.
But it's Pro Football Focus. Pro Football
Oh,
Focus.
I don't
is
care
all-
what focus.
They don't. Who cares?
That's what I'm saying. It's not
What about
officially.
the other one?
How do you put?
What about the
how do you
official
put
one?
out an all SEC
That's what I'm
team
saying.
and keep him off of it?
That's my point. Like, I don't care if you're Stevie Wonder. You can hear.
Yeah,
you can hear.
Absolutely.
Your
I
hearing
keep
works.
him in Damone Clark. Look at the stat line. Listen to this. Nakobe Dean versus Damone Clark. This is the third time I've read this, and it gets more
It's mind-boggling.
astonishing every single time. Damone Clark played 12 games. Nakobe Dean played 13 games. Know that first going in. Solo tackle stat. Clark has 78. Dean has 29. Total tackles.
Stop
Clark
it.
has
Stop
135. Dean has 61. Tackles for loss. Clark has 15.5. Dean has 8.5. Sacks. Clark 5.5. Dean 5. Every major defensive stat. Look at those numbers that I just read to you. If you need to look at them on paper after hearing them.
Who picks
And this dude won the award on the right.
That's a damn raw. That's
I'm telling you, bro,
highway
it's a team
robbery.
award. It's not about
It is a
the
team
best
award,
player.
but it's
I
not
got
a
run
team
for
award.
Player of the Year in the
Oh,
SEC
that's right.
myself.
There it
There
is.
it is. There it
That
is.
bullshit. Yeah, we didn't make it postseason.
Yeah.
I had the best fucking numbers in all of the league,
Get it off, baby.
and I fucking lost it to fucking Mike Zanino.
Hold the
who's a
pillow.
sophomore.
Get
Oh,
it,
bullshit.
hold the pillow, bro.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
I fucking almost hit 400. Triple crown in the SEC and fucking get it.
Wow. Wow.
I'm pissed for you. 400. Jesus Christ.
But that's some Damone Clark type stuff.
Right?
No, dog. That's crazy.
No, yeah. It's just
That is
that's where I was
fucking
going. I was
crazy.
holding that in. I didn't
You
want
did
to
hold
hear
it
about
in.
it.
I mean,
Don't hold it
after
in.
the 9
you should have
o'clock,
been let
you
that
got it.
out.
I was a junior. I was getting drafted. Let the motherfucker win the next year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter. You're never-
Underclassmen,
see,
too?
but see, that's where these people.
Fucking
That's where you
Zanino.
have to separate it though in
Hate the
his
guy now.
defense.
No,
and
he's a
in
good
mine.
guy.
That's not good though, dog,
Fuck
because
that
it's
guy.
not. It doesn't go to the best team.
No,
it's the
right.
best player.
That's the problem. That's my
That's
issue
the
with
fucking
it.
problem.
Yeah.
It's the best player. And dude, who looks at those numbers and pick
I
him
mean,
anyway?
Is that unbelievable?
I don't even understand who looks at those numbers and pick him. He had one more game.
It's unbelievable.
If you just do the blind resume A and B, like there's no
I would have
debate.
rather them give it to 31 from Bama.
Will
than
Anderson.
him. Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
And give Mikey his award back.
Give Mikey his award.
I'm off. I didn't want to say it earlier, but look, you know what?
Get it
Bullshit.
off, bro.
Bullshit.
11? Is this 2011?
Yeah.
2011, yeah.
383 had 30 stolen bases too.
You had 30 stolen?
Yeah, nobody fucking had
How many homers?
14. I led the team. We had 30 as a team. I had half of them.
Damn.
You should. Did you win
Nothing
all
to show for
SEC?
it.
Did you win all
Yeah,
SEC?
I was all,
Player
but
of the
like
Year?
still,
Player of the year, all SEC.
I wasn't the SEC Player of the Year. Zanino was. That's what I mean. He took that from me in the SEC.
That's bullshit.
Joe, what
He had
judge
a great year too, but it was. Give it to me.
Yeah, right.
Just give it to me.
I
But
wanted
they're
to
the number
be
one.
honest,
They're the
I
number one team in the
wanted.
country. We weren't. That's why.
That's why.
That's why they
That's
won.
exactly why. That's exactly why.
Do you see Matt Leinart keeps his Heisman in his closet?
I respect that. I like that.
Awesome.
Who
Whatever.
does that?
Like a centerpiece.
Matt Leinart.
No,
No,
like, no, it's
doesn't-
just on the
doesn't
ground.
Display it. Doesn't display it.
It was just
What's
like
the
where
story behind it?
No, he's just
said-
like it doesn't really matter to me.
It's kind of humble. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't care.
He was on McAfee and he was always like, I want to show you guys something because they were talking about Reggie and his Heisman. He's like, hold on, let me go to the closet. And it literally just tipped over on the ground. He's like, oh,
Wow.
watch out for Mr. Heisman there. He's like, oh, you just keep it in there? It's like, yeah, man, not a big deal. It's kind of a flex, but
Wow.
not
Of course,
a
it
flex.
ain't no
yeah.
big deal. He didn't win that Heisman. He
The
won
Bush
50%
push.
of that mother.
right.
That's why.
right.
Hell,
And
Bush,
has-
Lindell,
he's gotta
and,
have-
and Mike Williams.
He's got to have an imitation.
Who?
Bush of the Heisman Award.
Give him, yeah. Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
give him
yeah.
back the official one.
Man, get him the Heisman back.
Bro.
These people be crazy.
Crazy.
That guy.
Crazy.
I don't think people realize how good he actually was in the NFL, though.
Man, Reggie Bush was good.
He was good.
ahead
I
of
mean,
He was
his
when
just
he
time.
was
injury
in the world,
prone.
He was good.
He
yeah,
was
he was
too
just
many
injury
damn
prone.
injury.
Yeah,
He
no,
was a
right.
hell of a player.
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
You just didn't
his,
see it for a long time.
his college highlight film is the most
It's
impressive thing I've
unbelievable.
ever seen.
It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's sick.
His 2003 season
Yeah.
is one of the most
2003.
game-breaking. Absolutely.
yeah.
His
When he won the Heisman, he won it in 4.
no, he
right?
won it. He actually won it in 5.
5. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I felt crazy for a
And
second.
5 was almost give it to him because of
No,
3 and 4.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the, it's
You know what I mean? It was
Because
kind of
5
the,
wasn't
Hershey
as
dump
good.
it.
the Herschel
This man-
Walker thing. 5, he was good. I mean, his
not like 3.
but not like 3. His
This man-
his touchdown run in the national championship against Texas, where he turns the corner and
Yep.
jumps over. But he also made the biggest boneheaded play of that, where he tried to flip it back.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Me too.
Just
But he
like-
tried to
but-
flip it back to a
Texas
fullback.
love it too.
He tried
Yes,
to flip it back to a fullback. If that was Dwayne Jarrett,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well,
If
Dwayne
that
Jarrett,
man- that was-
Dwayne Jarrett's running about a 4.9 down there. He ain't following you
This
up,
man
dude. Dwayne
was
Jarrett was
jumping
fat
from the
then.
7
Who was that,
yard
Steve
line
Smith?
getting in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like he was
Yes.
leaping from the 7-yard
coach,
line.
and not even touching down. He
Air.
did that on an NFL
Yeah.
field
Yeah, that dude
in
was
Miami.
good, though.
Crazy.
He was good.
You know he did that same play
He was
in
good.
high school, the flip back. He did it in the state championship, and
Did
it
he
worked.
really?
And that's where he was like, "Dude, I've done this
They was
before,
good.
and that's kind of old brain." And it
Reggie
did not. He's
was
trying to
good,
flip it
bro.
back
It
to
was
like
so good.
Reggie was good.
I
a white
loved
tight
his.
end.
One of my favorite Saints highlights of him was on the road in
Against the
Pittsburgh.
Eagles?
Against Pittsburgh, his rookie year, where he did that on a reverse and he jumped into the goal line and and he always had pretty cool celebrations,
Oh, dude.
bro.
he was ahead of his time.
He was.
Reggie was
My
good.
favorite
The
one-
NFC Championship where he did the
Yeah.
flip in and then
Yeah.
he
Pointed
did the
back and
dance and he did
Urlacher.
that. Yeah, and he pointed at Urlacher.
And that they say that was the reason that the
and
Saints
then he
lost.
got absolutely decapitated. You remember that screen?
Oh,
Yes.
the Eagles.
Philly.
Yeah,
Who
that was
hit him?
Philly.
Was that Dawkins that hit him?
I think
No,
so.
it
No,
was
what?
a corner. It was a corner.
You sure?
Yes.
Asante Samuel?
No.
I'll look it
Nah,
up. It
it
wasn't
wasn't.
Dawkins. He
It
would
was,
be
dude. He
deceased.
just drew through that little lob.
Oh,
and
bro.
he got
But
absolutely.
you know what?
crushed.
Credit to him. He came
got
back
back
and
up.
made plays.
Yep, no
He
doubt.
scored that night.
Well,
No
he
doubt.
tried to
That
do
was-
the he tried to do the quick get up when that happened. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I'm good, and he's like,
Yeah.
hold on,
No,
I think
no,
everything might
Yeah,
be broken.
That was
Back
all
down.
fours, head
Yeah, I'ma
down,
throw
just
up.
kind of like,
Yeah.
oh my
My-
god, oh my god, oh my
My
god.
He got
favorite,
slapped.
my favorite play for him in the NFL is when he was going left, and I don't know if it was a toss and he comes up and he gets in the middle of everyone and like he breaks a tackle and he puts his foot in the ground and goes one way and then goes back.
Arizona, playoff.
Right, Arizona, right in the middle. Like,
Best
he was
game
around
ever.
4 guys.
Best game ever. That's where he
and
came out with the
scored. I'm
bat.
like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
came out with the bat.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton was pissed off. Payton told him before kickoff, "You better make fucking plays today."
Yeah.
Bro, he made that guy look stupid.
He did.
In the middle of,
Didn't he?
everybody.
Did he run a
did.
punt back too?
He ran a
Yeah.
punt back.
The
and
league wasn't ready for young Reggie.
Nuh-uh.
though. It was
No.
like when Mike first.
He
It was
was
like
a
when Vic
little
first hit
ahead
the
of his
scene.
time.
Bro, speaking
Yeah.
of Michael Vick,
That's
you
like
see
when
Kenny
he
Pickett
first
with the
hit.
fake slide?
Yes.
Oh
That's-
my god, that's illegal
That's,
now, huh?
that's
Yeah.
super
Yeah, you
savvy.
can't do that shit.
That's
Yeah.
super savvy.
It'll be
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
illegal by Tuesday.
know, but
for
that's-
Yeah,
sure.
you cannot do that.
Hey, you know what? If they're not
Sheldon
gonna call it,
Brown
I'll
was the
fucking
cornerback
try
I
that
just
hit
looked
him.
it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheldon Brown.
Just
Sheldon Brown would hit your ass
He
too.
popped Reggie Bush that
He's-
night.
Sheldon Brown would hit your
He
ass.
said they interviewed him after about it. He goes, "It felt like I ran through cardboard,"
Oof.
and he's like, "I didn't feel him." And Reggie was toast.
Bro,
His feet were this high. I mean,
I
it was
mean,
this high.
it's
He's
illegal
out.
now, right?
Yeah.
That's a penalty.
Yeah, he's
Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
He's
we
thrown
took-
out the
yeah.
game.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
He's
all
thrown
he
out
did
the
was
game.
form tackle. him.
Right.
hey, have you watched Man in the Arena yet?
no.
It's on it's on ESPN Plus about Brady. It's about all of like the
He lived it.
championships. Well, that's what I'm asking. Because like the first episode is that first season, and then the second second episode. I mean, the first Super Bowl. The second episode is them getting to the second Super Bowl and winning it. And so I just didn't know if you have seen it, but it's awesome. Like,
No, I
there's 3
haven't
episodes
seen it.
in.
I haven't
It's
seen
on
it.
ESPN Plus.
I'm
But
gonna have
it's
to check
it's
it
fucking
out.
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to check
so
it
like
out.
you were there, so I just didn't know. I wanted you to like kind of see how they
How the
talk about
sausage
it.
was made.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
That damn run up there, because I wasn't there for the first one,
Right.
right? And so I got drafted the next year, and I had
You
a
were
chance-
2.
Yeah, and I went to the Super Bowl though with Kev when they played in New Orleans, when they won it, which was Tom's coming out party.
Wow.
And so to get drafted there after they won, it was like, shit, we ain't going back to no damn Super Bowl. We just missed the Super Bowl. And then we went, not my first year, but my
The next
year.
2.
Yeah, we went back to back. But I'm going to tell you what it was. For me, it was watching, like at first, you know, when you get there, you want to play, you want to impact, you want to do something. So when you get there, for me, you know automatically, fuck, it's Tom. You know what I mean?
Right,
You ain't about
right.
to, you ain't about to shake nothing. You know what I'm saying? But what, for me, with him and just the organization, it was the stealth focus on the marriage that Bill and him had, and how like they played off each other, and how like everything was just always pushed towards winning. Everything.
That's kind of what they were talking about in the thing.
Yeah, everything was pushed towards winning, dog. It don't matter. Like it was always beef. It was always beef. It was always something, but it never, ever, ever, ever got away from what the
Right.
focus was. Like it
Damn,
never,
that's
regardless of what it was.
That's crazy that you haven't watched this, and that's literally exactly what everybody
Yeah,
was
no.
talking about. Vrabel would talk about how when he was on the defense, he would talk shit to Brady, and Brady was talking shit right back to him in the middle of practice, and they're going back and forth, and Vrabel was like, no, we love that. We love that mentality because we know that, like, hey, everybody's going to give everybody shit. It's a brotherhood. It didn't matter what was going on. Everybody's focus was on
I'm gonna
winning.
tell you when it was for me. I took it like, you know, when you come in, you think you should have like I thought I should have like a better role, a bigger role. So you know, so you don't understand what really do your job.
That
means.
rookie Rohan's a
Let me-
crazy motherfucker, man. That motherfucker that was driving Ty Law's car around the city,
Right.
crazy, man.
Tom, let me get a couple
the
reps.
season starts, and now you get into the season, and you see like it's a difference from like, even with the guys and the coaches, it's a difference. As every 4 games, there's a difference, and I'll never forget, dog. I thought we was getting ready to play the Colts, and it was the first time I'm there for the Colts.
In Foxborough?
Yes,
Ooh.
and it's the first time I'm experiencing Colts week though.
That's
Pink
Rocco.
and
Yeah, right, right,
these
right.
two.
Yo.
But just imagine, it's my first time experiencing it. You feel me? So
All week different.
then the first day of that week come, I swear, dude, I've never seen. That's the first time I seen. I call it the alter ego Tom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so where it's
right,
like,
right.
I mean, it
Don't bring me
was-
no bullshit this
man.
week.
It was like, dog, don't fuck
Yeah.
with me.
Don't talk to me.
Whatever the fuck I tell you to do this week, I need you to do it. Like it was crazy, dog.
You still think he's like that? Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right, right.
10% even worse now. He
worse?
older,
Uh-huh.
It was. It's
dog.
He's been brainwashed.
Cause
no, dude. This is exactly what they were
we'll
talking
go
about,
in,
though.
and I was like, they was like, this week he was like, you're Peyton, and the defense like Brewski. They was like, we with every fucking thing that this asshole does. How I need you, dog. They had me watching, dog. I was first time I watched film on Peyton Manning just so I could imitate the the line, running it down to 1 second,
Omaha.
running it down
Yeah.
to 2 seconds, all the stuff, and it was like, dog, it was so crazy to see the intensity put on that shit that I gotta do. I gotta get up in front of the defense, draw up shit, do shit. I gotta do like dog. I had so much anxiety, dog.
That makes you better.
110%.
Because you're watching one of the best ever do it.
Rohan, you're up.
110%. Dog. Like I, that's how I started learning. That's why I was like, shit, I don't know nothing. Dude, it was so much anxiety. Walking around on eggshells. I was scared to make a
Wow.
mistake. I was scared to
Wow.
do the wrong thing for Teddy B. I was scared to do the wrong thing for Rodney Harrison. My ownership of just that little thing I had to do to get the defense ready,
Breeding
it
greatness.
got magnified like a million times to where I'm studying like I'm about to start in the Super Bowl the next day. That's how I study every week when I was there, dude, because you just like
I'm accountable.
These older guys, they would not. It was just how it was. You're not gonna let us down or yourself down.
And if you go out there,
it
and
was crazy.
They
dog.
see that, and you go out there and you perform in
But
scout
also-
team against them. They're like, damn, this kid's good.
That's what I was about to say. Also, the other thing is you wanted to get the Vrabels, the Brewskis,
Yeah.
the lawyers,
You
wanted their respect, man. You
Absolutely.
wanted them to know that I'm not coming here to fuck this shit up for y'all.
Right.
Y'all been rolling. I just won a Super Bowl.
I could
Like
be
whatever
Peyton.
y'all need me to. Yeah, I could be Peyton. I could be whoever the
Michael
hell.
Vick.
Roethlisberger,
it was
whoever y'all
times.
want.
It was times that Adam Vinatieri couldn't kick off. Like say we was playing like Legler, the big
Legler.
foot kicker, him.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Shane.
we didn't
Shane.
hang, and we didn't have anybody that could shit. Bill would put me back at the 20 and be like, throw the ball down in the end zone. Throw the ball down. You know what I'm saying? Bill ain't dog. It was whatever. He was like, bring
Whatever
her
it
out.
takes
You know what
to
I mean?
win.
Like,
That's
throw that
crazy.
shit down.
Get
But
Rome.
This
Where's
also
six?
the other thing though. Like when I did that for the end of the week and stuff like that. This is how it was though. It wasn't like. This is why people say that about doing it. No, at the end of the week, I go to my locker. They knew I was a rookie. They knew, you know what I'm saying? And they saw how I took it seriously about what. You go to your locker, it'll be 10 grand in your locker. You go to your locker, it'll be like a gift from whoever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they took care
Keep
of you.
grinding, Sid.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like,
Keep
great
throwing-
job,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm
Throw another
saying?
punt for
Yeah,
it.
anything. So that's how it was with those vets,
Yeah.
man. And they
Keys to the
and-
Bentley from Ty
I love
Law.
this. I'm literally
For
gonna
real.
come back every time I watch the episode. I'm gonna ask you questions like, damn.
I'm going to
That's
watch
a
it
really
now.
hit.
I'm going to watch
Yeah.
it now.
It's
Shit,
because
I'm
the
in
second
now.
the second episode is about the time.
Because
you were
somebody
there.
told me that they saw me behind him in
Oh,
one
let's
of them.
go.
Yeah.
So I want to see it. And man, listen,
And they-
dude,
I mean-
I love to watch that just to remember those
Yeah.
times because it helped me grow as a football player.
Right.
It ain't really helped me grow too much as a man, but as a football player. But that's NFL. The NFL don't help you grow as
Yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as a football player and having the ability and the knowledge that I know now, shit, I wouldn't
Yeah.
trade it for nothing.
No doubt
bro.
about it.
Nothing.
It's almost seems like out of college and going into the league, guys should probably go through a 2-year program like that
Yeah.
where you can just learn how to be a pro.
Yeah. Yeah,
An
and
academy.
you know, and you had, especially when, I ain't gonna lie, man, we had such good vets. That's why whenever they talk about veterans and stuff like that, them guys are so important, dude.
Yeah.
Just to help rookies.
Yeah,
Like if I didn't
absolutely.
have Kevin Falk in New England,
Jamarcus Russell was in a terrible situation.
yes.
You know, he had no vet above it that
yes,
said, hey, man,
yes.
you don't tighten up, you don't get your ass kicked.
Yes. And then when you go out there and you got all that money, and then you're the first pick, you're the face, and then you're at an
Held
organization
out.
that doesn't know how to do it. Also,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. The Raiders still
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
Right. I mean, it's a great example of organization where you land. All right, there's people talking about how much ADHD this show has. The original
Sure.
question was how the players feel about Brian Kelly in the locker room. Hit that
No,
MC
that's
for
true.
the big fella.
That's true. That is ADHD.
I forgot. Look at it.
That
There you
is
go.
the original. So
Hey,
get
Well,
back there.
back to that point. I saw the guys. It's hot as hell in here.
Yeah,
dog.
it's hot. It's hot.
Hey, I saw the guys after, and this is the biggest thing, and this is what I was talking about before. I take this shit off. This is what I was talking about before when we talked about what damage, like the damage that your former coach,
Yeah.
or even just being under that regime does.
Yeah.
All these guys, and I didn't speak to all of them. I caught them coming out, caught them the next day, you know, so on and so forth. They're definitely know that it's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
But they're all still waiting to see.
Uh-huh.
They're still
Same thing Walker told us.
They understand the message. They understand where he wants to go because you know these guys. He talked to them about changing the mantra, changing this, bringing LSU football back, and they're all like, "Yeah. We've been lied to the last 2 years, and we're not gonna put you in the same category as what we just left."
Just let me see it first.
But we're gonna see if what you say match up.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I got consistently from. I probably talked to 30 guys. Definitely 75% of them are all on that. Let me wait and see. We definitely like what he's saying. We definitely like the attitude that he's come in with. But we want to see who he brings in and how they treat the players and what kind of ownership the players have with everything that's going on. So they want to see, does he live up to what he says, and does he give them, I guess they was talking about having the players more involved with decisions or things that
What's going
they're
on in
going
the
to
program?
deal with. Correct.
Yeah.
So
What more surprises?
He talked about the leadership. At least I've heard quotes. He's talking about leadership and how it doesn't start with him.
right.
The leadership. He shouldn't ever have to discipline the players. The players should be able to self-discipline themselves. You
That
should have the
counsel.
leaders.
Yeah.
You should have the leaders on the team that are so well respected. Which you feel like in 19 they had that.
Yeah.
And you kind of lost that over the last couple of years. It's like, hey, this guy's here. This guy's a vet. He's well respected. We got it. Don't worry about it, coach. We got this.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that is the sign of a great team.
Yeah.
Somebody that the bullshit never hits the coach's doorstep.
Yeah. And when it
how
does,
much did Belichick ever hear about drama within the locker room?
Nah, it don't happen, and it didn't happen with Coach Saban either when we were there. Once you establish it, but
It's culture.
To Miles'
Yeah.
point, it is culture, and the guys have to, like the leaders, the ones, and this is the thing. Some coaches try to put guys in positions.
That
They
aren't
figure,
leaders.
oh, he's a quarterback, he's a
Yeah,
leader. He's
right,
a
right,
safety,
right,
he's a
right,
leader.
right.
You can't do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to
That's right.
elect those guys.
Yeah.
And you have to have the team
Yep.
elect those
No doubt.
guys. Because those
They know better than anybody.
they know
Yeah.
who they respect.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they ain't elect me a captain my junior year because I was balling. I wasn't balling.
Yeah.
They respected I ain't take no shit, and I used to be the one talking that shit and getting everybody else
Representing
straight.
everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and they knew that if we go in front of the coaches, whoever we go, I hold it down for y'all. I respect y'all. I bring everything back with whatever our problem is. I bring that up to whoever needed to be done, and they respect that. You know what I mean? So. These coaches, I think, get it twisted when they figure, oh, I'm going to put him there because he's a safety. I'm going to put him there because he's this. Because we think that they are the leaders to us. No. 9 times out of 10, it's probably only 2 people that the coaches look at and say, okay, he's a leader, and then the team agrees. That's not true.
Yep. Rohan Davey, every Monday we have him here, man, and it's his incredible insight. You can always find it on JordyCulottaShow.com. It's all presented by Fletcher Painting. And we talk to him every week about the state of LSU football, what's going in and around the game, and it's always the best. We appreciate you.
Man.
We appreciate you, man. It's great to see you.
Absolutely.
What's going on in F3?
Oh, listen, man, we got youth trials this weekend.
Oh,
Lord
wow.
have mercy.
Wow.
Youth trials this
Hey, you
weekend.
got a referee right there if you need him.
9 registration from 8 to 9. We're on Eventbrite. You can walk up from 8 to 9 at Lamar Dixon. It's going to be from 9 to 12 this coming Saturday at Lamar Dixon. 10U, 12U, 14U, and then we're going to backdoor it on the 18th, I think, and come back with 15 and 18U tryouts, and then get it rolling. But look, dude, we have, like, it's going on right now in the state championship alone, dude.
Yeah.
We have 25 kids.
Wow.
That's
I went to Catholic Jesuit on Saturday night.
participating,
I saw Beal and the Wright boys. I saw all y'all's guys.
Then you got Zachary going back out there.
Yeah.
Warren Eastern got 6 guys on Warren. So we're going to be down for some football this weekend.
We will be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Go Chevrolet drives us each and every day for Matuk, for Roe, for Lloyd, for the entire crew here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Make sure to hit that like, share, comment button as Go Chevrolet drives us each and every day.
Which age group could I play on that you would start me on?
Beginners.
What age is that? You don't
12
think
you.
I could run with 12-year-olds. All right. That's good. I mean, I ain't 15. Like, I know
Nah,
they're going to
you
dust
can't play
me.
15,
No,
dog.
I'm going to get dusted.
Yeah, you can't play 15. You can probably do,
funny.
12 years.
12
I was going to say
perfect.
14, but now you
I
can't
mean,
do
I would
14.
dominate 12.
You'll dominate
I just want to
12.
dominate.
You'll be the ringer.
Yeah.
You'll
But I
dominate
wouldn't look
12.
it.
You'll dominate
Yeah,
12. We
yeah.
just shade a mustache.
Yeah. Ooh. Deal breaker there, coach.
That's a deal breaker. I say, ooh.